Welcome to episode 24 of Western Wilds. It was an eventful week last time, I think. It was an eventful couple of days.
I'm fine.
Nothing happened at the end.
Anybody care to give us the recap?
I can give us a recap.
Sure.
Please do. I'm very excited.
As journeys unfurl, many venture forth, from ancient sites to the north and south. The prodigy forges weapons a master's hand, while the banker resists an eldritch demand. Leviathan stresses the need for connection. In this oddity's course, there's no time for reflection. Closer to the destination, fear starts to grow. The prodigy's fate, not back home, but in woe. Arrival brings truth, a revelation to share. The learned leave warnings with despair in the air. Anger burns the path, it's a dangerous ride. In a youth's refuge where secrets reside. Playthings and robotics, a curious blend. Misty was lost but found keys to transcend. A powerful device to Doralus it'll thrust. A message, a warning, in secrecy, trust. No one knows when the message did arrive. Don't seek me out, but my parents alive. A nexus capacitor in shadows concealed. Misty's parents plea, their fate is sealed. Children not ready for truths untold. A question to gods, both young and old. So much unveiled, but should it be shared? In the nearing hour, a choice to be dared.
Outstanding. Who wants the recap inspiration, Ryan?
Yeah,
Go for it.
I'm feeling a bit light on everything. Hit points,
Cerebrospinal fluid.
Cerebrospinal fluid, yeah.
I think the one thing that really missed out was, for my money, is Misty rolling a natural 20 to glitter glue's ball bearings into dynamite.
God, I did that. It's in there. It's just
Dynamite
a little gloss over fastly.
The prodigy forges weapons.
Yeah.
It's
there.
Just,
Do you want to make it sentient?
What is my purpose?
You explode and die!
Oh.
Yeah. Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh no! Oh, please don't make it be bad.
Kind of want it to be enthusiastic. Yeah!
Yeah, that might be funnier.
Like the dagger that says, it's stabbing time.
See, that's effectively like a homing missile at that point, because it is something that can intelligently seek out a target and then explode.
Yep.
I kind of imagine them being voiced by Patrick Warburton.
If the target was particularly cagey, they could go undercover for a very long time and then, like, fall in love with the enemy and then get married, and then on the wedding day they reveal it's just dynamite and explode.
This is full human, and then just trench coat open.
Yeah.
Falls down into a pile of dynamite. Like, what?
One of the best subclasses I've ever seen, homebrew subclasses, was the fighter subclass, secretly 3 halflings in a trench coat. And the level 20 capstone power was your level 4 halflings in a trench coat.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, dear. Yeah, so you guys
can I
travelled
change
off.
subclasses for Vaxus?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So you set off from...
That goblin porter is actually the camera really pick one.
3 halflings in shadow. You left the wellspring, you travelled through like the rock maze. I think you saw a couple of other parties of
A couple of Quianos, but
Cool.
avoided them.
Friendlies and
Yeah, we saw
Folies.
both, right?
friendlies and folies, indeed.
But we don't think they saw us because you rolled crazy high.
You all
on your
rolled
perception.
really good stealth and perception rolls, and they rolled very bad perception rolls, so yeah, you were safe. Travelled to Subsite 71, Misty's erstwhile daycare, and saw all the delightful things on the inside of town.
Some pleasant memories.
Like,
Honestly, that did more psychic damage than the actual psychic
I
damage.
have said this before and I'll say it again, and all of you do it, and it's fairly regular. Sometimes you'll just give me something that's just such a nice present as a dungeon master. And in this instance, just the place was just called Town. Oh, lovely.
a bit different
Lillian's
from when
made
I
a note.
called a place home.
Lillian's made a note. Get Misty therapy because she thinks this is normal. Click.
She's already in therapy.
Yep.
She ran away from therapy to do this.
That's my secret, Captain. You chatted with Grandian a bit with the Row Access Crystal, which she got from Commander Yanis's body.
We downloaded some latent audio logs that were never received by the university, much to Misty's anger.
Because only like a few months after you left.
One of them came in very soon after you left. One of them was in the middle of the 8-year time span, or thereabouts. Yeah.
Because I thought it had been sealed up about 8 years ago, and then no one had been in, based on the...
Yeah. So one of them came through 7 years and 11 months ago. One of them came through 5 years ago, or thereabouts.
Gotcha, yeah.
Wibbly wobbly.
But because no one has been back here to check...
Oh, I see. Oh, the messages. Sorry, I thought you
yes.
meant people from the university.
No.
Sorry,
No,
yes.
no,
Yeah. It was good to confirm what she already knew, that they are indeed alive, and happy and healthy. Their message may have indicated differently, but...
Yeah, but, like people say things when they're stressed,
a poor signal is what I'm putting it down to. But they sent a warning that we should... Like, if the facility had already started up, the process has already begun and we have to stop it.
If that thing on the left is on.
Yeah. We all look to the left at the
the glowing machinery. And then there was a bit more of that. Lily then did a divination. Divination. Divination spell, spoke to the god of children, and received an answer.
And went very quiet.
I was quite pleased with that, honestly. I listened back to that and thought, sometimes things sound in real life like they sounded in your head, and that did. I was pleased.
Don't forget that we were also asking many questions of Leviathan during the whole thing. And
And accruing brain damage.
Will has accrued
Like
brain
a
damage. I'm pretty sure Leviathan has done herself some major damage now
Shut
as well.
down or something?
No, she hadn't.
She hasn't shut down. She hasn't even passed out. But
Was like one more question? Like we pushed her to the brink, though.
You pushed Will to the brink.
Pushed Will to the brink, certainly, and Leviathan, you have not seen her sort of quote-unquote take damage before, and this certainly did. She is... You got the impression, and she told you partially as much, that, the aberrant programming that lets her be a her, not an it, was getting pushback from the other programming that makes her up, and which manifested as psychic damage.
Did we hear what Lily's answer was?
No.
Lily hasn't told anybody thus far.
Yeah.
And then we also did some math.
Oh,
You did.
Triangulation and...
Oh, yes.
So you have...
We can now trace a
radius.
circle around
and
where
then
we are.
somewhere on that circle is a control tower. Yeah. Or a signal tower, I should say, so not a control tower.
And I figured out that with a fly spell, and dashing the entire way, I can get to that circle within an hour. To anywhere but I need to know which part, because I could go to one thing and I was like, I see no relay towers.
The other caveat...
And then I have to use another spell slot to get back.
Yeah, and I assume that is within war territory still.
It's in with more territory.
You are comfortably within hostile territory here.
Is our precision good enough to figure out the three-dimensional point in the sphere, rather than just the... because we can eliminate, so we know it's on a ring, so we also know it's on this kind of arc kind of thing, or
so so you can get 2 dimensions. Could you get the third dimension?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about how points, because 1 point is a point, 2 points is a line, 3 points is a plane. Is that right?
Yes, 3 points is a plane.
Yeah. So it would be that third part of work. Yeah.
I'm mostly just trying to eliminate distances for because if for instance on a ring, based on where we are, because we're up high in the mountains. Almost all of the area that's down in the valley on a ring is going to be out of bounds, and that's not going to matter.
Cool. Okay. What we'll do is we'll pick up where we left off in Media Race, and then we'll talk about who's doing what little
Okay,
calculations,
yeah.
etc. So what are you all doing? Lily, I think we'll start with you.
Is
Will and Leviathan are sat outside.
okay. I turn
Looking a bit dazed.
So I turn to Will and I go, Dee, are you alright there? Good. Leviathan, and then
Yes.
I need to speak to you without Will.
Very well. Yeah. You have your eyepiece and
so
your big
say,
sort of Doro phone.
so I kind of walk away a distance from Will so
Yeah.
he can't overhear me. You're not under the same compulsion of the rest of your siblings as to hate all gods on sight. You have a distrust of them, but you don't try and murder them. Or...
Depending on the individual functions of my siblings, they would have varying levels.
Yes.
My function was not combat.
Good. So I communed with the god of children. I don't know if you know them personally, probably don't. And they have informed me of something that I think we need to discuss as to what to do next. They seem to indicate that they are not... They are... My understanding of what they are has changed fundamentally as a result of this conversation, such to the point that they are not, in my eyes, gods anymore, more refugees from some other place, fleeing a horrible thing that they have, or we have, or our ancestors have brought upon us. Is that accurate? If that answer will harm you, say nothing. And then it says nothing.
Yeah.
Right. That is what I was afraid of. Can you answer? Did our ancestors, the immortal technicians and whatever, did they know about the status of these gods? Or did they learn it at some point during the war? Alright, that's a bad sign. What do I do with this information?
Get to the relay tower.
Yep, that's the plan anyways. More of... Now, in my faith, personally, at the moment, as I serve the lady, who is not a god, it's not heresy. However, what I know now would be considered heresy of the highest order. I don't fundamentally know what to do with that information. I may come seek her counsel later when I have an amount of time to process it. But, and I know you can't tell anyone anyway, so that's why I'm confiding in you. I am scared of something that could scare a group of gods far enough that they would run this far, and I am terrified of what Misty will do trying to get her parents back. You said to me there are things we need to make sure that our children don't know for their own protection. I think I've stumbled into something that I didn't really want to know, and now I'm on the other side of a terrible wall.
All children have to grow up.
I suppose they do. Very well. My fundamental understanding of the universe is a particular way. Are there actual gods, as in not fleeing aliens is the word, I guess, would be the right way of putting it? They, she, he, it, the god child seemed to say they were refugees. The closest to an actual god is, or force that I would class as a god, is the lady, but she's mental, past, and all that. Is there something else out there that made them then?
Even I don't know that, Lillian.
That is kind of comforting in a way.
The gods have propaganda on their side. What we call a god is not necessarily what they represent.
I'm understanding that. It feels that there is some fundamental rules to the universe that somebody has set in motion that even they adhere to. I don't know. I think at the moment the best I hope I can trust in you to help me to help me keep Misty from destroying the universe. And I don't even mean that lightly.
I will do my best.
Thank you. I'm gonna go lie down and maybe bake some cookies.
Your ancestors would have been proud of you.
I hope so. I'm going to eat some of those cookies as well.
Getting high on your own supply.
Yep.
Will is probably just sat there against a wagon wheel. Oh,
Yeah.
the wagon doesn't have wheels.
Yeah.
The
lying
wagon
lying
hover.
on the sled. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
the stars. Probably with dried blood just caked around his nose. And
I think Ezekiel will come over with sort of like a canteen of water and sort of like.
I was wondering if I was going to ask, are the civilians staying away because they're freaked out by what looked like a half-dead Will stumbling out of there?
Yeah, you stumbled out of an immortal site, and honestly, even if immortal sites didn't have a reputation, these particular people don't have good experiences of them.
Yeah.
And you stumbled out, with blood pouring from your eyes, nose, ears, and mouth, and then sat down just to have a little stare up at the heavens. So, yeah.
Sending Lily
But
Wall.
Ezekiel will sort of, hey man, you okay?
Ooh, there's a choice. I'm going to go back to the original Will voice. I could just do with a bit of a rest.
Sure, man. He's gonna. Could roll a medicine check, gets it a 10. Like, what a 10 will get you there, I think, is he like gives you some willow bark to chew on and washes the blood out of your like face and beard, and then that's about what we were getting. Like, he doesn't have a bonus.
That's fine. I mean, I was just going to chill out for a bit.
He's just sort of like, he's doing the whole sort of like, follow, can you follow? One of them is, and the other one isn't. Yeah, I think actually your organic eye is following, and the technological one isn't.
Is the technological one just shaking slightly?
Yeah, sort of glitchy. Yeah. Nothing that won't be healed with time is what I'll say.
Cool. Just glad I'm not going to have cyber psychosis.
Hey, that's cyberpunk thing, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, because I remember. Augustine, Misty, what are you doing back on the interior?
Trying to recall. She wasn't in tears by the end. I think she got.
Does that happen quite early on, right? Because you were hiding underneath, and then
that's when
gradually got your
You're on
clothes.
2 nat ones, but eventually
Yes.
pulled it back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we investigated this machine. We got the message from her parents.
It's the best news she's ever had.
Yeah, she's in quite good spirits. I don't think there was any information that we had left to pull off it because I downloaded the logs, if I recall correctly.
Mhm.
So she's.
Do you want to... Sorry, Karen.
I was going to say she's possibly skipping out at this stage in the dramatic 180 fashion.
Cool, yeah.
She retrieves like the road crystal and stuff like
Oh,
that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Augustine?
I think this is going to fail, but I think he's just looking at anything that can be salvaged from this place. And I think every so often he gets a little bit too close and you hear an apple a day and just shing.
Oh no! Augustine's murdering an entire town.
We all knew it would come to this. Oh no. Yeah, so...
I think a few too many of those and you just like, there's nothing.
Chuck us an investigate check, I always
Do-
what I'd say.
Do you have the on-off cantrip?
I
type
do.
thing?
I could use that to see if there's anything.
For... Yeah, I
16 on
think...
investigate.
I meant for turning off the people rather than stabbing them.
No.
No, that needs to end.
There's a catharsis with stabbing them.
Yeah, on a 16, I think this place, Misty lived in it and discovered almost every secret it physically had to bear over the years she was here. The whole university research team came in. On a 16, what you're sure of is there's nothing. This space is truly picked clean. Like, other than, like, the actual machinery and, like, the weird, like, printed dollies and teddy bears and, yeah, that kind of thing.
I can't believe they left all that. I mean...
Could we salvage a voice box from one of these things?
Oh.
I think... Give me...
It's the DM brain of how is this going to bite me in the ass?
Yeah, no, you know what? That is exactly what I was thinking. Give me a technology check.
I will say that Misty can basically do this.
Yeah,
anyway
the
with
other thing
her
is that
class
Misty
feature.
has that as a class feature for magical tinkering.
21.
Yeah, you can. What I'll say is it's not programmable.
No.
It is just, it makes a sound. You pick up, like, basically the wire leading from the cell to the motion sensor to the... there's actually a circuit diagram on there somewhere for this exact thing. But, yeah, it's like a cell wire leading to a motion sensor, to a speaker, to back to the cell again, and a switch to turn it on.
Oh, Missy's a good inventor. She leaves comments in her code.
They're in crayon, but they're there.
That one
That
up at
is
the
so
top
much better
where it
than
has
some of the
E is greater than 1. No, sorry, 1 is greater than E at the top right. From, in there. That is the chemical... Sorry, that is the chemical equation for how to generate explosive combustion. I did my homework on this one. Yeah.
I see why I already knew you were proud of it, and now I know even more why.
Yeah. I just kind of got really into this.
Are you planning on making a distraction grenade?
Yeah, it checks out. Yes, you salvage. What particular one do you go for? There's like, stop in the name of the law.
Yes.
Absolutely. I thought that might be the one you would go for if you... Yeah. Cool. It's a real, like, sort of panto voice, but it is saying the right thing. So, you might want to add that as just a custom thing in the sheet. I probably won't make an item for that one if that's all right.
That's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Can it be triggered with on-off remotely as well?
I don't see why not. Like, I think... Like, there is a physical switch that, like, you can, like, to press that on, but I see no reason why you couldn't turn it on with on-off. No. Yeah.
And does the portal device at least ping to on-off as I go past it?
Yes, but you get a, like a sort of access denied kind of message, that kind of thing. It is, locked out and, yeah. Swear.
To locked out of what, sorry?
So like the portal device is locked out from access to like you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, like.
Ooh, do we get the feeling that Misty's parents accidentally bypassed the security with the things that they were doing?
That is a brilliant question. I'm going to want insight or technology. And I think technology wisdom.
Can I also make that check from the point of view of, like, how do we get them back? Can this process be reversed?
Yeah.
I think I've already asked that and the answer was no.
Yeah, it's same checks, wisdom-based, insight or technology.
Like, how did they achieve it, and is it...
12.
12.
That one. Oof. No, I'm not to know the answer to that.
Yeah, sometimes the dice just don't want you to know something.
Yeah. Like, there's something wrong here that you can't put your finger on. Like, you should be able to access this and you can't. And you start getting that like spiraling thought in your head that you get when you've got like one problem that your anxiety is fixated on. And is that, but I got to do that, but I can't. But if I do that, it'll be good. But I can't do that, so I can't. But yeah.
Emotion has got in the way of science.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless, well, I think either the safety locks were in place, and with the fiddling they were doing, they just momentarily became disengaged, activated, and they popped off. Or once they were through on the other side, they realised, oh shit, this is bad, and prevented the access from their side.
Roll again with advantage. Oh, sorry, roll your advantage die.
Worse.
That's possible. Yeah. Either of those is a viable theory, yeah. Cool.
Remind me, is Will asleep when Misty comes outside?
No.
No, just
Will
having a lie
wasn't
down.
asleep.
Probably Leviathan's back in by the time you... Or, like, she never left, but yeah. But your conversation with her is concluded.
Just playing Muzak internally.
Cool. So, I believe there was talk of doing some maths.
Yes.
What I'm going to ask for is... one of you... And nominate who you want. Make a DC 26 intelligence check. For every one of you, every other one who hits a DC 18, you can get a +2 to the roll. That make sense?
I think we know who we want to have.
Yeah. Can I give them guidance instead?
Yes, absolutely. So if you guys want
to...
Yeah.
I mean, this is a DC 18.
DC 18, if you get a DC... this is Inton Technology.
No.
You get a +2 to this. Will?
So I use charisma with my technology, but I can't do that with this one, so I need to... This is a +4. 13. That one's?
I love it when the playing good together. That's not the right accent for that quote, never mind. Yeah, so I think at this point what Misty does is like you fully like throw up a hollow screen from your data pad and start writing in like hollow crayon on and just the as you reach the bottom of it is that your hand is like going like almost like leaving smoke in the air. The hollow screen just starts to scroll up and up and up as you add more and more equations. So your result was
Not enough.
not enough. So the DC was a 24. What was your total?
36. With a natural 20.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So
You can
+3 on
calculate where
guidance.
this came from to the tens of square meters.
Nice.
It is in the mountains to the north-northeast of you. North-northwest of you.
That's where we're going.
Good job, dude.
Missy looks very sure.
Yeah.
Have a cookie. I've made a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Have a cookie. You can have...
Brother,
Get the
You
blood
have
sugar.
a few!
you look very tired. Drink this.
He looks tired. Lillian looks haunted.
Augustine looks...
That he's come to a decision. He looks
Okay.
confident.
Nice.
Will is...
You heal 9 points of health.
Yeah.
It's cure wounds, effectively.
Okay.
Sweet.
A question that I asked Joe that he said that sounds like a good idea, but didn't actually say if he was going to do it or not.
Mhm.
I suggested that we would be able to drink. I asked if we would be able to drink potions as a bonus action, but applying it to someone else.
So, so like we already have the house rule. Obviously, you can drink a healing potion as a bonus action rather than action, and it's an action to administer it to someone else.
Yeah.
The question from Ryan was other potions that are not healing potions.
Inspired by the rules in Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay, great. I see no real issue with that, mostly because you're not going to get that many potions, so it's going to have your elixirs, which are part of your class feature, will still use the class feature thing.
So it will take an action to drink them.
Thank you.
If it says that in the class, then it'll take an action.
Thank you.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. But yeah, if you get hold of a potion of fire breath, I'm not mad about you drinking that as a bonus action, sure.
Cool.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, you have a destination sort of on your little mini map in your interior.
My
It's
HUD, yeah.
a little bit, but yeah, Misty sends the data to Leviathan and drops a ping on the map, and yeah, you got the little like pointer being projected into your vision now. Yeah.
I got a compass all across the top, and now there is a little arrow on the compass.
Gold arrow going down, yeah. Cool. Are you sealing the doors back up? Are you
We should probably
Misty, do you want to leave a note for any of the university people?
Yeah, I'm just... So...
There's
With...
no... Oh, sorry, no.
You guys probably noticed this anyway, Alex, with Sorry, because that's a 10 on the stealth. I've left like a post-it on the inside of the door.
Yeah.
It basically says, Mum and Dad, we've come to get you. We'll be back later. M.
Okay. Do you leave anything on the outside for anybody who's coming through to see the...
Could we put...
Because
that
we've
you
broken
burned
the seal.
the-
You've burned that.
Yeah, that's gone.
Oh yeah, that's mending's not going to fix that now.
Yeah.
She's...
Is there like a control panel on the outside?
There's like a hollow lock, but not a control panel. So it is.
So outside of on-off, how would someone get in?
You could crowbar the doors apart with enough time and effort. Yeah. Like, again, the Paytax unit is there, which you can switch back on. But ultimately, the physical barrier to entry was never really the point of the Immortal sites, because if the angels know where you are, the door is not their problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's gone, as far as we can tell, unaccessed.
That's true.
So, yeah, she's left the post-it on the inside. She's not going to put anything on the outside.
Okay.
You guys are welcome to.
I think Lillian will.
I'm tempted to see if we can like encrypt the lock so that people can't get in from outside. The people who
Even with stuff like on-off.
yeah, without the right passcode or a very good hacking check.
I think what you can do is, roll me either hackers or technology.
17.
Okay, I think what you do is you sort of isolate the lock system from the rest of the site, so it's not centrally controlled anymore. And then you basically apply like an admin level lockout to row access.
Mm-hmm.
So only someone else who has the row access, which is obviously way more than anyone you've ever met has got. Unless they have that, they won't be able to get it. Yeah,
Cool.
That's probably the best job you can do with the sort of available materials, short of like stone sculpting the rock. Like across.
You mean like I'm about to do?
Okay, cool. So, Lillian, what are you doing?
I cast Stone Shape and I just just completely cover it in stone.
Yeah.
And just in case anyone happens to know it, because the university knows where this place is.
Yeah.
I leave a message says you should have kept looking for them.
Inspiration. That's like, in terms of raw lines, you should have kept looking is dynamite. Not that kind of dynamite.
Aww.
You mean the other dynamite with ball bearings
And glitter.
and glitter.
I love that the last thing somebody sees when that goes off is, it's a glitter!
Oh no. I have a
that
horrible.
glitter's gonna get everywhere.
I have a horrible feeling that Tiny Servant is already a spell Misty can cast.
I think it is, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, boss, let's do this. Yeah. Oh god, it's another fucking Langston.
It's a perfect voice.
Dynamite is a tiny construct. You can make a lot of them move all at once. I think it's 16.
Don't tell her that. So, you guys set off. I presume you're like bringing the refugees in tow and everything, and not refugees, the prisoners.
Do we know what we're going to do once we've completed what we're going to complete at the... Like, is it worth leaving them here?
I'm wondering
go up and back.
I'm gonna ask. Our man, the one in charge, Ezekiel. Can you get these people back home from here? Can you make it without us?
Hey man, I'm taking the fast road to Logrilla.
Right.
We'll probably be meeting you there anyway.
We need to go do something.
Yeah.
We'll try to catch back up with you.
Catch up with us on the road. Worst comes to worst, I can fortify and send sparks up as a signal fire.
Right. Okay.
Turns out if you shoot a fireball straight up, you can see it from a goddamn long way off.
Boom! Obviously, that's a last resort thing, because everyone would know where you were then.
You got any of those
We've got.
We did say
Yeah.
we grabbed a couple.
Yeah, we
you
I believe we
grabbed
already
it.
gave one to him.
Oh, okay.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't know if we did, but we have tons to spare.
yeah.
We gave one to someone, but yeah, we gave
I
one
did
to
not
him.
have it in my brain. You already given him one, but yeah.
We might have given it to someone else.
I think you did. Yeah.
We'll
I
give
can't
it to
remember. Anyway, yeah. So you sort of puts it in, and yeah, and you see the little Ezekiel picture come up on the.
Yeah. Friend request. Accept.
He just sends you a thumbs up emoji. Cool.
New headset, new disc.
All caps L.O.L.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool. You head off up into the mountains again. It's still cold. You're at a lower altitude than where you were when you were, for example, coming out directly from Site 5, but you're only just at the valley floor, and you're like in the big rain shadow. So there is actually cloud above you, where the cloud gathers to the east of the mountain range that goes through. I'm just going to activate Vernon main map. Yeah. So you're heading a little way up. It's not even a whole hex away.
Yeah.
These coordinates. You head up into the mountains. Yeah, it is all.
Yeah,
sort of,
Misty's homes are in there already.
yeah. It's all like beige sand, very pale sandstone, but quite fine-grained sandstone, and quite like tough, and it's not crumbly at all. So there's no sort of risk of like rock falls or avalanche as far as you can see. If you head up the sort of scree slope, it's a bit of a climb. In fact, everyone give me an athletics check.
Oh, we're not riding?
This is on behalf. You can do animal handling or athletics, your choice. Yeah.
Okay, they're both the same for me, but I'm going to choose animal handling because I am out of it still.
Sure.
14 for animal handling.
Unnatural 1.
Ooh.
Your beetle is unsettled. Yeah, you're not sure if it is that. Like, there is a little thing in the back of your mind, that resolution you have come to, which is you sort of feel the gathering inevitability around you, and even as you get near your beetle to mount up, it is a little spooked and is really sort of shying and bucking and squirming away from your control a little bit.
24.
24?
18.
Group check, absolutely fine. Yeah, eventually it gets in line behind, like the pheromone trail follows it up and sort of calms a little bit. It's uneasy and will remain so for the rest of the day. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, you head up. There is little groves of mercy trees up here, sort of dotted around. There's even the occasional sort of very sort of shaded, like, spring. It looks like there's not enough output from the aquifers below to create a stream or a river. There's a sort of balance has been struck where a pond has been created, like an oasis, but it is only replenishing as fast as it is evaporating. So, it sort of stays at a constant level, but it's nice, cool, clear water in there, sort of bubbling up from cracks in the rock below.
I feel some water skins.
Absolutely. And you get to your mapping. You see it being dropped on the as you get within range of it. You see it being dropped, a little pin on in your vision ahead of you. It looks just sort of like a flat sandstone kind of rock face.
Can we look for any kind of
Tags.
distinguishing characteristics that we were told to look for?
So roll me history, but you can choose intelligence or wisdom.
25 for history.
So you recall Novem, and there was like a crust of rock that had been deposited where this was on the seafloor for tens of thousands of years. There was like a sandstone shell that had been sort of deposited down. You think probably just dig down.
Hand you a shovel.
Can I check to see if we're being watched?
Absolutely, yeah. Perception check.
Nat 1. It's all clear.
You've not been watched.
I think Lily would want to look around and see. 12.
As far as you know, you're not being watched.
I think Will is just going to get cracking.
Cool. I'm not going to make you roll for it. It is a case of basically getting a pickaxe. Like, you have a pickaxe that you picked up back in Slumbering Hollow when...
Yeah.
So you get that and you take a couple of good swings, and the rock, like, where it has had like a lot of cooling and then heating and cooling and heating, it's quite brittle and fragile. So you get like one ting, ting, and then crunch, and you feel a layer of the rock breaks away, and you sort of reach in there, pull sort of chunks out. And as you reach down sort of onto the it looks like there's just another flat rock layer. As you reach down, that telltale sort of slight resistance of Patax field. You feel your hand sort of pass through it. It takes you maybe sort of 10-15 minutes to clear this thing entirely, and eventually you end up with like an irised hexagonal like platform about 8 feet across. This is it.
Can we like step back and just on off that particular panel?
Absolutely. It opens sort of like Stargate style, and then there is a sort of real grinding sound from underneath, like metal screeching or metal and rust and debris, and this like unfolding sort of pillar rises out. It's maybe 40 feet high, and it's sort of just being extruded from, it looks like a hole has truly been just bored down into the earth, and it's not like a smaller space like this, it's truly like just a straight shaft, and it's being brought straight upwards.
And we spent a lot of time in salt water.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. In fact, yeah, there is a bit of that brine stench to it where it's been trapped under here. And also, all through that sandstone, you're breaking apart fish skeletons, bivalves, mollusks, all sort of, little bits of seafloor debris, as you find all over the desert. And, as it and it sort of hits the limit of its extrusion, you see a console, like a little small, like, and this is not like a big fancy console designed to be interacted with by someone long term. This is like a maintenance panel almost. Would you be so good as to interface with the panel, William?
Of course.
Yeah.
Just pull off my fingertip and just stick it in the slot.
Cool. Will basically plugs his finger into the side of the thing, and you wait a few seconds, and you wait a few more. You can sense that Leviathan is sort of straining. Okay, it's the message is sent. We just need to wait for a reply.
Reply from who?
Sorry, Augustine, I'm afraid that's classified.
You knew what was going to happen and you wanted it.
I think it was one of their sisters.
Can I get a charisma save?
Charisma save.
Yeah.
I imagine.
And can I plug... Is there a place for me to plug in...
17.
Cool.
Is there a place for me to plug in my data pad? Into
Not
the machine?
unless you remove Will's connection.
I absolutely will not.
A gathering bolt of blue energy from sort of arcs over to your position from multiple places in the sky, from sort of the horizon, hits the top of the tower and hits the console and bursts forth and strikes you directly in the forehead. You hear Leviathan going, "No, wait, please!" and then nothing. And you are stunned.
Is he still plugged in?
You are also blasted back.
Okay. I go over to make sure he's still alive.
You think he's got about maybe a minute of stun, but yeah.
Jesus. I don't even know where to begin with him anyways. He's made of mostly metal at this point. Leviathan, are you there?
Still stuck.
Can I now run forward with my
No reply.
data pad and plug it into...
Yeah, absolutely.
Do I need a checked interface with that? I'm trying to...
That's going to be a technology check.
How long did it take for that whole thing to happen?
The waiting for the reply was substantially shorter amount of time than the...
I'm warming the attack. Is there time for me to go to watch the skies, and if I see something coming down again to strike Misty?
Oh, for sure. It was a matter of a couple of seconds. It was like kind of with the being the incoming, the vroom being the down, and the
So as soon
being
as
out.
I'm going to start. Just
Maybe
Yeah,
prepare an
yeah,
action to tackle her out of the way.
Exactly.
You absolutely can.
So, currently stands at an 18, but I'm not happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Gonna hit, yeah.
when we complete the goals, we get a particular roll.
A destiny point.
Can I spend that to get advantage rather than the inspiration?
Absolutely.
Cool. That is worse.
Just out of sort of Ujin Flip, if you want to spend the inspiration instead of a destiny point, the destiny point does more. It just depends on which you think you're gonna use. Get to more frequently and use more frequently.
Ooh. I'll spend the inspiration then in that case.
Because a destiny point is inspiration plus other things rather. Yeah.
Okay. I will stick with the 18 because inspiration just gives you advantage, right? You don't have to accept when you want. Yeah. I'll stick with the 18.
What are you trying to divine here?
So originally it was going to try and see if there are any logs stuck in transit, but now I'm going to see if I can find Leviathan. Is she in this system?
There is no life in this tower, bar what? There was no life in this tower before Will plugged in.
Yeah.
There was briefly an enormous amount of energy coming through it, and now this thing dead as a doornail.
Does it have any record of...
It doesn't store any data.
I didn't think it would. That would be a terrible design for a tower, but I had to ask the question.
I get it. Will, you are coming round, basically.
You alright?
2 seconds. Leviathan. This is inside his own head.
Yeah. But I see concern. She's not there.
She's gone.
Presumably, yes. I don't know exactly what happened. You got blasted in the head.
The last few moments were a bit of a blur.
You've had, willingly or unwillingly, Misty look over you on a number of occasions, checking over Leviathan, haven't you?
Yes.
Right.
She's already running over with her data pad. I was just letting you finish your conversation.
Yeah, go on. It's nice that you asked this time.
Yes. Got permission from Leviathan the other times, but she's not responding. Can I plug my datapad into
Will?
Yeah.
I've got a slot on the back. Roll over.
Oh, I hate it. Take a point of inspiration. Yes! Oh, I hate that much.
I was aiming for the neck. Oh,
Yeah,
God,
back,
Yeah, like a...
Just use the finger. That's all.
That's the accent.
No, that's the
USB.
male.
It's USB. They're at the same either side.
No.
And this is going to sound worse than it is, but I've done work on the back before.
Take the opposite of a point of inspiration.
It's already gone. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is that another technology check?
Please, yeah.
Can I provide advantage by assisting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, guidance.
Okay.
What are you trying to divine here?
Find Leviathan. Is she, because...
Is she off or is she...
So...
Is she off or is she gone?
So
Were there any
you-
logs left behind?
So-
Effectively, you sort of access the hard disk in Will,
Yeah.
and it appears the disk has been somewhat formatted.
Oh no.
What?
You still have all of your class abilities; they are still all intact.
And
Yeah.
now I've got to do everything on manual.
Yeah.
I saw this coming a mile off.
What
Out of
about...
character.
For now,
What about the escape pod?
The escape pod does not have any sign of life in it.
Damn.
What was that tech check?
31.
Fine.
Begrudgingly.
What I will tell you on a 31, which is nuts, is that you designed that probe to contain Leviathan if she was killed. If she had been killed or destroyed, she'd be in the probe.
Theoretically, she has moved.
Maybe.
She could be trying to come back to us at some point then. But she, depending on where she is.
The other thing I will say is you've got some logs from what Will and Leviathan were doing. You know that the message was sent and received.
Is there a way to at least point us in the direction that it was sent?
Can you see
No.
the content of the message?
Because it is locked with Omega clearance.
Is there anything in here that wasn't there before that we have access to?
No. Nothing has been put into your data storage. It is only the place where Leviathan
didn't
was.
leave anything for us.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. Because I could imagine her leaving a fail-safe in case this thing happened. But presumably, whatever other thing.
I did suggest that, and she was unwilling or unable.
Possibly both.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can we send some kind of... We can send... You can't see what the message Leviathan sent, which is locked. Can we send some other kind of message to the same location to say something?
On that 31, I'll let that one ride. It doesn't look like you are capable of sending messages that this would be able to interpret. This signal tower. It kind of needs the servitor angle to get through, because you have the hardware and you have some ability to use it, but you are not yourself part of the system. Is that
We don't have the OS.
We've got a car
language.
but no driver. Kind of
kind of
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't your skull, isn't that the
It's
drive?
no. It's a very basic translation system.
Right.
I don't think it was designed to translate into the computer language, if it is a language. It's
Right.
okay. Could we, even though we don't have a servitor, could we send out a general broadcast, not of anything specific, but just send a burst, either as a test burst or a ping?
I think the best you could probably do is energize the tower to basically broadcast white noise.
The reason we found this tower is because, in theory, the town was using it to.
Yeah.
Is it? Do we get the impression that it's using it now?
No.
Are we able
And
to trace?
the signal was also weak enough that it probably wasn't extruded. That was why that's part of the reason why the signal was so sort of patchy, was that it was capturing whatever it could get through the ground, because they were sealed, and probably a lot of the signal towers, the reason why they haven't been found and turned into objects of worship or art or just curiosities of the desert is because they're locked under rock. If this was a video game, they would be points of interest, and you would have to sort of jump stomp, and then you unlock the signal tower.
Yeah.
Which would reveal a section
Points
of
of
Yeah. Wow, this game writes itself.
Does that mean I can download a mini map type thing of this area? Full topographical survey.
You already can. That was part of your key mind kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I was doing it for the
This
bit.
could be a very silly idea.
I've also got a very silly idea, but I don't know how to implement it right now. Go on.
We have the entire back and forth messages from the town site to wherever, to tell wherever this central thing is that, hey, I'm sending and receiving cargo. Could we just repeat that message to imply that this site is back up and running and it's just sent something. Like, could we repeat the Misty's parents have used the machine message?
Send the false logs, change the dates on them, and send them through.
Is that possible?
To what end?
To see what traffic comes back. So we would be sending out a "Hey, we're open for business," and wait to see what replies and where that's coming
that,
from.
be a man in the middle
Could
attack.
you give me a raw intelligence check?
Yes.
Guidance.
Thank you.
And certainly guidance.
Um,
Death is doing fucking overtime. He's like,
Computers.
I'll guidance that, I'll guidance that, I'll guidance that. Phantasmal cookie for you, phantasmal cookie for you.
raw int, did you
Yeah.
say? 25. 16 on the die.
I think
with
what
guidance.
hits you at this point is you're trying to work out how to do this, and just like, it's not responding, it's almost like it's not designed this way.
Yeah.
The conclusion you come to on, again, a 25 is very good. I should ask you for different checks. The conclusion you come to is that the subsite was never sending messages. The subsite was receiving a request for information and sending it back. If you want to communicate using one of these towers, the message always comes from, like, the call is always from a main site servitor, and the response is always from a subsite. Or not necessarily always, but it could be to another main site. But no, actually, it wouldn't be. It would be, yeah, the main sites are the overseers, and they have the key to the box, and then
If we want any information, we need to find a main site.
Can we... So first of all, can we use this to find a main site at all? With the stuff that we have now?
probably not.
Okay. Second thing is... I can't really try and replicate what Leviathan did and send my own message, can I?
No,
The blue streaks, did we see where they came from?
did.
Can I try and track a general direction?
Did I?
I am gonna ask because I know you have sharp mind. I'm gonna ask for I'm gonna have to get a different map up. And you don't get to see it.
Oh.
I'll zoom out of it.
But I do.
An idea that I had while Joe was searching that up was sending a message going, Eichner drone Mark IV prototype model requesting a mega clearance. I thought
cool.
it'd be funny and awful, but funny.
I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna put some dice on the thing there.
Ooh. One from there.
Okay, yeah.
One from there. No, that's a bad place to go. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see which
Maybe.
one of these don't have a thing underneath it. Like, he puts one there. Or like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Uh-huh.
sense.
From there.
Uh-huh.
Wait, is that Novum?
Is that
That's
on
near.
Novum?
It's
not
Near-
Novum,
It's near
it's-
Novum.
That's
That makes
not
sense.
exactly in the right place, to be honest. I'm just trying to translate between a map I'm seeing from that angle and a map I'm seeing.
But that is like a day's travel from Novum, maybe two.
Yeah.
That makes sense because the refugees must have come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Hmm.
While I'm up, I'm just going to go to the lake. Talk amongst yourselves.
Will, where did you find Leviathan? Or more specifically, where did Leviathan find you?
So I was about... I bring up the holographic map over my holographic palm display thing, and I zoom into... So I got on a boat that was leaving Harlan. The boat was travelling in this direction. The boat was travelling in that direction. It exploded. I sank.
How many days travel?
It wasn't even a full day.
Right, okay.
So it's somewhere off the coast of Harlan.
But
And then I washed up about here.
Oh boy.
After being rebuilt, I woke up about here, travelled up this way, met Misty somewhere around here, in these hills somewhere, went to Weaver's Hollow.
Right. So
the
presumably you would have. I would guess you would have been rebuilt.
So if we're theorising that these are main sites, and first things
I
first.
need to make an edit.
Oh, okay.
Because that one got destroyed in a nuclear explosion. Bear with me.
Fair.
Ooh.
That's a nice friendly territory. I like that
So-
one.
Is there a reason that we know some of these? So this already has a symbol on the map. That has a symbol on the map.
Those are ones that are either known or theorised.
Okay.
So there is an enormous forest for no fucking reason. A lush, temperate jungle rainforest. And it has been long suspected by the University of Aylen that there is a site there that is causing it. Something. If there's not a site, there's something there.
Yeah.
However, because it's right in the slap bang in the middle of enemy territory,
It's past the mountain range, and past the mountain range is death.
yeah.
Has that always been the map, or did you add that?
Site 5.
Not the text, the symbol.
The symbol has always been there. Yeah.
But that's Site 5.
Yeah, that's what we've been. Yeah.
It's full of manticores.
Which
Oh, and that one's offline.
And it's offline, which is why I was going to put one there.
But-
Also, there was going to be one in the garden, but obviously there was a whole business there.
So, which one did we think was distribution? That one or an unknown one?
You didn't know.
So that's got to be distribution, right?
Yeah, right next to the
Why do you think
survivor's
so?
last stand.
Because
They would want to build a last stand near a place where they get supplies, right?
I will point out that you do know that... I won't ask for a history because I think you might...
I think we might discuss that. The
I think you discussed it previously.
proximity to subsites aren't necessarily a clue.
That, yeah, and also the Immortal sites were locked down way before 0 Day for Nova.
So they could have fleed from
You also know that the Novem survivors came from Adita. And Adita disappeared under a lot of holy fire.
As you do.
And the
I like how engaged everyone is standing up and pouring it. Like, I'm so happy you built this because this is exactly...
Yeah.
And the distribution side of this thing.
Subsite.
Yeah, we knew it was teleporting it to the Dollarless facility around there.
Yep.
So at minimum, it has a theoretical range of that.
Yep.
Actually, that is about the same distance to there, but also to there.
Yeah.
So let's think about this practically. Lily, where were your grandkids again? Here. Okay. So there's death.
Everything
Everything
west.
That stuff. Just there's a lush forest there.
Everything west of the mountain is death.
Okay.
Including that.
Something
Well, that's also
That's the Balana capital city at Light's Cradle. That's where the Flesh Plague was.
So
that's super death.
That's also where the Revelation happened.
And all the flesh, right?
Could
That's super death. We won't go there.
be good to get some answers though. But that itself might not be death. Between us and there is death.
How accurate is that though? Because in theory, we've been going through death for the last X days.
Well, this is the front line, right?
Isn't
We are
that's
That's
the front line?
that's the front line. At the moment, you're travelling through the mountains, which are mostly there's no
If we
sight
start going
lines.
through open
Yeah,
desert, people start seeing
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
that's
However-
the exact
however-
difference. Yeah.
I do appreciate that way is going to be... This one is unlikely to have been explored at all, or even found, and thus most likely to be undisturbed.
Unless the Coyotl have explored it because they think they're all holy sites.
Could I get a history check from anybody who has had dealings with the Kyoto? I don't think that's anybody who, like much, but yeah. If you think your character has had significant dealings with the Kyoto, you can roll with advantage.
I would have read about them.
Yeah.
I won't roll with advantage. I'll stick with the 24.
Just do something.
Yeah.
No, I do. I love you.
Ask me to make an athletics check occasionally.
Make
and
an
then
athletics check.
No, shit.
17.
7.
Sweet. 17?
Yep.
26, 24?
Yeah, 24.
64.
24. That one is a confirmed site, but it is the Tulkura Valley of the Ancestors. That is a full immortal site that, due to treaties and various things, humans don't go to. It is the most holy site of the Tulkura Coyotl. So the idea that if they're in Coyotl territory, that they might have been cracked open and found is not a bad shout. If you remember Site 5, the Razacoatl arena was built on top of it.
That's true.
And around it, yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, you remember the vampire
Had to kick them
prisoners.
out,
Yeah, you saw the vampires invade and kill the Kyoto priests who were in there.
Right.
So isn't that one even most likely to be?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was saying.
It's because we were within days of it and no one.
Yeah, so
mentioned it.
practically, we've got to go through a war to get there. That's also death, and we don't have a boat.
Do we know it's death? Yeah.
Light's Cradle is the only one that is for fucking sure.
Yeah, that's the capital city
Like,
of the
Out
Allies.
of character, I know this, but in character, does the world history know that is places death? Okay.
Yeah.
Without
I mean, you
the-
know where the capital cities are roughly.
Yeah, it's not
Even the other Kyoto the Allied Kyoto would have told humans roughly where the capital cities are, but the Balana had pretty good relations with humans before the revelation. Humans went there, visited there, traded there, that kind of thing. So that has, it is just, they tend to get a bit skinny these days.
Yeah. So we have to go in that direction anyway.
Yeah.
So I think
it's right next to
yeah.
I reckon we go
to the.
We go to Ragbend,
Yeah, exactly.
save the kids, and then bring them to Novum.
So your plan would be to go north to Logorilla,
Yep.
across to Fort Morgan,
Yep.
to Ragbend,
Fuck some
then very important step, fuck some shit up, then travel down possibly Tombstone
And then
to something near Nova.
Probably drop the kids off in Novum and then come back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not Augustine's preferred order of things, but
What's up? You want to fuck stuff up first.
This
Cool.
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Augustine will not voice that.
Yeah.
I don't want to take my grandkids into an Omato site, a Omato main site. It's not just a sub-site where we know that they are dangerous already. This is a main site which probably has greater defenses and probably defenses against normal humans and might even be tuned to kill people like myself and my grandchildren.
Yes,
So I'd
and-
rather, if we're going to go there, we go there first.
Okay, we'll go there and
We've also got the refugees that are currently going to Logorula. They might want somewhere safe to hide. We could get them to Novum, and then they could look after your kids whilst we.
They want to get home to.
yeah, they're not exactly in hiding.
They're hiding from.
Whereas
True.
we are.
True.
There's also a chance that if vampires are there, it will have a similar gateway into your. Like that is what I have nothing to back that up.
It's
but
possible, but I'm mostly going on my thoughts that they took our ally from us. We need to get her back. I promised to help her find her children. I intend to keep that promise, and we can't do that unless we have her with us. So we need one of the main sites.
So there then.
So there.
Okay.
Before rescuing your grandkids.
What's the
If
difference in
the-
journey time? Like from there to there as opposed to there to there.
Well, we need to get up to Logorula because it's the easiest way of getting beyond the fighting.
Because this is the front line. This is the supply runs to troops for our side of the war.
Yes.
So it's kind of like no one really settles there. Because it's kind of in the middle of
There
all
are absolutely towns out, like 4 towns and various things is in that area.
Because we travelled this route, right? Because
That's
we
a road
started the
you've walked
campaign
down
on the
before.
Yeah.
It's about a week. It's about a weekish. My concern really is if we decide to go to Ragland first and go back the other way and then go trancing down in a motor site, I can't guarantee their safety anymore.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous.
What I would say is this route and this route are sort of fairly equidistant, sort of going round that way, round the mountains there to that way, and to go round that way. This, however, is a straight road. It's like a paved road and is
also
through
neutral.
friendly territory.
Yeah.
So if you
And
go,
then this route is probably quite straight as
that's
well.
well travelled. Yeah.
And this route from here to here is also well traveled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we travelled that one.
And then,
Yeah.
and there is a route that goes from here to here.
There is.
So
You walk some of that road.
how is this thing hidden?
Let me get the...
Pay tax, and it could be buried underground.
But it's right on a main road, though.
Probably more about there,
Oh.
actually.
All right.
But still.
Still.
If
There's
it was
some real
uncovered,
bumps, yeah.
we would have known about
The
it.
Amarkal sites were designed to hide from gods.
That's true. So this one is still active. That's more reason to do it first.
Could I get an insight check?
You can be happy with me now, Jay.
Yay!
All of us?
21.
There we go.
The main site you have been to, Site 5, needed quote-unquote roof access to send things out. That's not necessarily true for every other site.
There's one.
Oh, it could be teleportation access only.
There you go.
How the hell would we get in there if it's teleportation access only? We need to find the other
The
point.
reason we know it's there at all is because we saw.
You can roughly guess. In fact, probably what's going to have happened is you will be able to pinpoint that on a map and that on a map. These will give you like a radius like that and a radius like that of trying to sort of eyeball the area of sky it came from.
But I guess the implication being, in order to put something into the sky, you would have to have had access to the open air. It couldn't just teleport a beam.
Or it would have had to have a tower.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be
It would
some
have a
physical
tower
presence
nearby.
that is not buried.
It would have a
to do
tower
that.
like this one within about 20 miles.
Yeah.
So if we can find that tower, could we then, in theory, find the site?
If you could find the tower, you could find how far away you were from a site, assuming that it was the same distance with the same ping time. Although it would give you... Hang on, I need to do some pi maths here.
Pi.
It would give you, like... 400 times... It would give you about 1,200 square miles of desert to search. Oof.
There is another question. How long will your body maintain without Leviathan?
I have no idea.
Can I run a diagnostic on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Technology?
I'm going to say medicine intelligence. We're doing the weird skills today.
Yeah, I love it. It's an underutilized feature of D&D.
I like it. It was Xanathar's first introduced it, didn't it?
Yeah, it talks about it. Yeah.
Medicine, what's it?
Medicine intelligence.
So I'm not proficient in it, so it's
So,
just in.
Yeah.
Only 11.
Great question. So what you are
Could
seeing
I
in real...
roll the same thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and again,
It's
same.
only a +1, but
Go for it.
If it's medicine, we just jam him in the portable medical bay that we've got.
Certainly for the goopy bits, yeah.
well, we could use it as a diagnostic tool as well.
Yeah.
Because I've been in there before.
That will give you advantage. Or that will give someone advantage to do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we
What was your total without the advantage?
10.
Mine is at 11.
Currently, both of you are saying he seems fine. Like, the damage is all meat damage. It's not to the mechanical components. On a 10 and a 13, the issue is you're seeing him pretty fresh. Even with the psychic damage, you're seeing him pretty fresh. You don't know how it would hold up long term.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence, and you haven't had any evidence while you've been like this, that there is much degradation over time. Like, the healing magic still works on you. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm also going to be like testing out my class features to make sure they're still around.
All online.
And
All of the bits and bobs and tools and...
You wait till
the fact
tomorrow,
that I can still command nanobots to form into a sword.
Yeah.
Dear, if you have a concern, if you wait till tomorrow, I can ask the old lady and she'll tell me.
Gotta get perception check for everyone.
I love that we're still standing.
So do I. It's great. I like it.
20.
About 20.
Mm-hmm.
27 in total.
18.
15.
25 in total.
That was super great. I'm going to give you not only what, but also direction numbers. If you recall, there was a
Oh
rather...
shit, there was a big light show that we've just shown all these Coyote where we are. We should go.
We need to know.
You can see sand skiffs in the distance, those things you saw the purple robe Coyote riding.
Right.
They're also quite fast. They are somewhat converging on your position.
Turn it down.
Oh yeah, turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will seal itself up.
And then turn the pay tax thing back on.
Yeah. I think actually, like, not long after, you get a guys,
Yep. Right.
what was that?
Unimportant.
Will
and
they-
we'll deal with
Will they
it.
intercept them before they intercept us?
They're coming from the other. They're coming from your due east.
Do you mean due west?
No, they are coming from due east through
So from the battlefront,
from the battlefront direction.
which means that they are possibly in between
That's
the
They're
Coyote
going
and
this
us.
way.
Sorry,
They're going-
the Coatl you can see coming are coming from due east.
They
They
this
are
way.
slightly north of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, given the skinny that the big light show has attracted a lot of attention, I recommend hiding. We need to get out of here.
So that
Roger.
kind of seals the direction that we want to head in then, because we don't want to lead them towards the refugees. We want to head.
Well, they're
that
gonna
way.
they're gonna be coming here, directly here.
Yes.
If we can sneak away before they get
We're
here.
high up, right, in the mountain.
Yes.
With those perceptionals, can we also see our friendlies? How stealthily are they being?
They are moving stealthily. They also look like they're exposed. Like,
We need to go down.
But basically, even if we hide, when they get here, can they just go? Oh, there's at least
Yes,
some.
they
Oh.
see them.
because you know where they're going, you can sort of spot them out. You get the sense that it would be a die roll on whether they spotted them, and yeah.
Is it worth
We-
asking? We've got a question today. Is it worth asking whether we're able to leave them?
Not today. You haven't rested since the last divination.
Okay.
Oh shit. Okay.
No. Why don't we head and why don't we raise the tower again? Because the Kyoto will be much more interested in a precursor.
This is the only tower we've ever been able to find.
Yeah, but we can't interact with it.
Neither can they, but they can break
That we
it.
know of.
But
The
if
Kyoto
they,
have never broken Immortal sites as far as we're aware.
they're holy to them.
They're holy to them.
Alright.
And if they find a new site, they maybe will be distracted by looking after this rather than
So
chasing
your
us.
plan is to raise the tower, then go after the refugees to get them to Logorilla, and then assume that this will distract the Kyoto. That is a dynamite plan. I'm not actually going to make you roll for that because you have...
Psychology.
Well, no, you've understood the Kyoto and their particular wants and desires. So yeah, no rolls required. You.
Well, when you said dynamite plan, I had to force myself not to look at Mike.
I gotta stop using the word dynamite, or use it more. One of those. Cool. I'm gonna sit down at this point. Yeah, you zip off after the refugees. They're probably not that far ahead of you. They're not moving. I mean, they've certainly sped up at this point. They're sort of trying to get to cover, but you ride up behind them, not terribly more than an hour after the tower goes up. You can absolutely see the Kyoto in the distance up because they're up raised. You can see them gathered round the thing.
Can we see what colour their robes are?
Yes, white and brown.
Bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brown the Raza.
the Raza and the Artila.
Thankfully not black robes. The Orpus a little bit scary.
Yeah, but Ezekiel's like, "We good?
They'll be busy for a while, dearie. You're fine.
Okay.
They found a new toy to
share.
play.
We want to make tracks.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna say to. Ooh, I'll wait till it gets back. I'm also going to just rub this lovely tummy right here. Loki's not mine. I'm indifferent towards my own tummy, and sometimes hostile. That's mostly the Crohn's disease. Ooh, lady. You okay?
Yep.
I don't know if this site is any good
Why?
because no one's found it. It's in this good territory. It's got to be deep underground.
You think back to Site 5, where Site 5 was located, within the magma bubbles within the Earth.
Yeah, exactly. We tried.
Had we known where Site 5 was externally, we could have opened it within hours.
Yeah, true. But not every site has to have an
The
external.
Quilter found it.
Go found Site 5, yeah.
Yeah.
You're aware that they built their temple, Light's Cradle, above
Top of it.
above Site 1, or what you would understand to be Site 1. But what you would understand to be Light's Cradle is Site 1.
I doubt
This
it's
is
actually site 1.
Huge.
No, it is Site 1, but you wouldn't know what number site it was in character. if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
This territory is under the control of
Entirely human control.
entirely human controlled. The Coatl that we are allied with,
Mhm.
how much leeway do they get in that territory?
They can
Or
travel
they can-
freely as you can travel freely in theirs.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
My concern is that not every site has to have a nice little entryway for us to get into. No one's found it so far, and it's been. How long has the island been up? Hundreds of years?
Allow me to consult my Talam timeline document.
I thought it was like double digits.
Talam
Cool.
timeline. The current year is 599 AA.
Cool.
The
The
second expedition is.
island rose in 351 AA.
So it's been up 150-ish
Odd
years.
years, yeah.
And nobody's found
It's the
it.
second expedition that's been.
The first
with,
expedition was the year after the Rising,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
basically found seafloor rock and nothing.
Yeah.
The second expedition was 573 AA,
Right.
and that was the one that founded Mercyville and was lost. Then the third expedition was the Harlan founders, who came in 581. Numbers.
What is it now?
599.
Okay. Yeah.
It's about 20 years.
Yeah.
Cool.
But the Coatl have been here the whole time.
You don't know.
That's good. That's an interesting thing.
Isn't just.
In the first expedition, did they find anyone?
No, they found
They-
seafloor rock.
They never met Coatl in the first expedition.
Interesting.
What a great question you asked.
Shit.
Oh, I know.
Oh. Wait.
I
Because
think
the island rose,
Yeah.
and
There was no life on the
there's
island.
no life on the island.
Yes.
Second expedition goes out, Mercyville.
Okay. So at that point, the site's activated in theory because that's where
Coatl.
Maybe.
non-sentient. No, but we've been there, right? We've seen the things it was capable of producing.
Yeah.
That's
Coatl weren't in the database.
no. But the life that we know, the non-sentient life that we know on
Started to be produced
from Site 5.
just after the Rising,
Yeah.
probably around the
Yeah,
time of
yeah,
the first
yeah.
expedition. But what they call succession is the process of life building up slowly. So it will first be like lichen, and then once the lichen lives and dies,
Yeah.
it will produce enough like dead
Yeah,
matter
yeah,
to
yeah.
create organic soil, and then plants like seeds will grow in there.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
So
Because that's the whole point of Light's Cradle, right? It's the revelation of why Coatl are here.
yes.
yes, because I think it.
And there are
It
conflicts of information.
created them, or it's brought them from somewhere.
Well,
or it,
Theoretically,
from somewhere. I like that one.
I remembered a thing that Joe once told me that Will definitely doesn't know, so
Mhm.
definitely can't share. But
So-
I'm like,
I'm a motherfucker.
so my theory, and I don't have any outside,
Yeah.
that is based on this and musings late at night, is that I think it printed both humans and Coatl, and that's why it split. Some were like, "Oh, cool, we're blood brothers," effectively, and the others are like, "You are blasphemous," and the
You're
creator,
the worst version.
yeah, you're the evil twin. We must cleanse you. That's
It is a very interesting interpretation, and I will tell you, as all good religions have, it does have some grains of the truth to it.
yeah. So
Cool.
I The other possibility, obviously, is they were all told to love one another, and so therefore war was the only option. So
That sounds about right, yeah.
take that, religion.
You're correct.
Yeah.
So,
So you know why it's there.
Yeah, but he knows it out of character.
Sure.
I think when we were talking about this, when I was helping him develop the setting further.
Yeah.
we can only try, I guess.
Yeah.
So we go there and we see...
You guys, you set off, you catch up with Ezekiel's party. Great plan, no rolls required. You think it's going to be the rest of the day and about half of the night, most likely, to get to Logorilla from where you are.
You have a long damn rest.
If you want to, yes, you are welcome to. There is... Yeah, it is your decision whether you want to have a long rest out here or wait until you get to Logorilla.
Well, we've got at least a wagon.
You've got a hover sled and a bunch of beetles.
So we can, if you...
I might
want
just need to
rest,
lie
just jump
down in the wagon.
You are welcome to long rest in the wagon.
Whilst
If
the rest
you
of
guys...
us are
Yes,
fine.
that works A-okay for me, yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to begrudge me lying in the wagon. None of the civilians either,
No.
who've been riding in the wagon.
Can
One of my
I
beetles.
spend more another spell slot? I know he's long resting, but given that he's taken psychic damage and I don't know I don't even know if your body will repair itself. Can I also cast again? It'll be another cure wounds.
Cure wounds, absolutely. Yeah. You're handed this fizzing sort of rhubarby custard potion.
It tastes really sweet until you've drunk all of it, and then it has a weird fishy aftertaste. But it does heal you for 7 hit points.
I'd work on the aftertaste. Less of that, please.
That's a dynamite question. Mechanically, either the latter or the former. Like the game stats have not changed.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's not a question for me.
Hey, buddy.
Cool. You guys
doing to me?
set off driving hard. The prisoners who are riding beetles, they're sort of doubling up because they're a bit less heavy and they have less belongings than you guys. Yeah, pickaxes and metal skeletons, etc., etc. But even so, you're riding your mounts hard as you go through. The question I'm going to ask is, if you go straight, you will arrive at Logorilla probably at dawn. If you rest, it will be tomorrow midday. That is your choice. What are you planning to do?
Well, there's an army on our backs. Granted, they're distracted, but
I guess at the point where we would start to consider staying for rest, can we look back and see...
Kind of look around and
Absolutely,
see whether
yeah.
that's
So
safe to
you-
do.
Maybe, like, hang back for
You
one of us
pelt
hang back
it
for 30
until
minutes
about
and-
9 or 10 o'clock at night. There is... you can see like dust clouds around you, sort of silhouetted against like the moon as it like rises up. You don't know whether they're friendly or not. Is the
Yeah. But traipsing around in the dark through a battlefield is also really dangerous. Or if we run into an active battle, it won't just be the enemies we need to watch out for, but we need to be watching out for friendly fire and spellcasters on a battlefield with refugees. We're likely to come across something bad. Have you ever seen anybody hit by a fireball point blank? It's not pretty.
Ezekiel's like, yeah, sorry, Augustine. I think you reduced it to 0, didn't you? With the yeah, fair enough. Only he got hit then. So actually, no.
You blinked through time.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I hit you.
I guess we rest then, but we have watches.
Yes.
Well, by this point, I will have possibly already finished a long rest. And also, I can go into sentinel mode, so I can...
I'm going to ask for a group check here then, if you're resting out.
Sure.
You can choose either stealth or survival. Stealth to actually, to do the stealthing of it. Survival to sort of obfuscate the camp.
Do we have to pick one as a group?
No.
Or, okay.
Each of you can contribute in your own way.
I will do survival then.
I'll
I
also
will also do survival.
30.
One success.
Uh,
Tempted to say 2, but no, 1.
14.
14.
That's stealth.
27 for survival.
27.
Oh, mine was survival.
Split the difference. However, with a 30, I think. Was that stealth?
Stealth.
Yeah.
Plus 11.
There are some really hairy moments like where you can hear movement out in the darkness, but you are in like total light discipline, total sound discipline. The like adaptive tents that you printed out with the go bags, like you had from the from before, they actually do some of the camouflaging for you. So Augustine is like setting this up, and you have like what they call sand hole fires that only burn under the ground and produce no smoke, but only while you're cooking, and then that goes. And in fact, you're probably not even cooking because you've got the nutrient tubes. There are some hairy ass moments where you can hear things out in them, and that's not birds, that's not raccoons out in the desert, that is something hunting. And yet, morning comes, and nothing appears to have attacked the camp. There is a ring of footsteps going in a very perfect circle. No.
Oh, not again!
No, you... Yeah. With as much... You're setting off in the sort of 4 a.m. light. And going as fast as you can. You realise you're probably only 4 hours away from Logorilla now. You're going to get into friendly territory soon. In fact, you're probably already in friendly territory, but it is still stuff that is being patrolled by the enemy.
Sure.
And
You're in no man's land.
You're in no... Yeah, you're on the front line next to no man's land. And as the sun begins to actually fully rise, you just peel. You just make a break for it. You ride as hard as the beetles will take you. And I activate you a scene.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Set into the cliff face is an enormous precursor sculpture. Sculpture is definitely the wrong word. Sorry, my
Structure?
brain. Thank you. Yes, I meant structure. My brain fully word saladed that one. I apologise. An enormous precursor structure. It's not a martel. It's too different. You see, it is that familiar slate blue metal. It is also covered in guards. Like there are wooden and cloth and like hide guard posts set up. There are Coyotl guards holding like long metal glaives where they're sort of appear to be formed out of one piece of solid metal, and they have various like enchanted gems sort of hovering in the scoop bit of the glaive there. And they certainly look like they know how to use them. Thank you. Ezekiel's like, yeah, okay, I can deal with this one. And he goes up and speaks in Coyotl. And you speak Coyotl, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He says, yeah, survivors from down south. We need to speak to Kutho. And one of them sort of gives him a nod. Like a couple of these Coyotl you can see look like they recognise him. Like he's been out here before. And
can I roll insight to see if I can judge how they feel about him?
Yeah, absolutely.
11.
I want to look for... It's just Coyotl here, isn't it? Or is there humans as well?
You can't see any humans yet.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. On the 11, they're hard to read. They don't have the same facial structure as you do. It's a tricky one. Like, if Coyotl are really displaying their emotions openly, it'd be like flattening of the ears and like snarling, but they're not.
Sort of body posture and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of them hops down out of this this guard tower. After all, this is a capital city. There are potentially thousands of Croatlin, but out here you can maybe see 20 or 30. You can also see actually that you can see things that probably used to be like market stalls and like play areas and stuff that has been dismantled and removed from the outer area of this since the outset of the war. Since the outset of the Civil War, I should say. A few minutes go by, and one of the Kyoto guards appears and speaks to Ezekiel again. Head on in, Kutho will see you. Kutho will meet you in there. These are all grey-robed Kyoto. They're like very matte, dull grey on the robes, and there's that familiar sort of rush of pressurized air. The air is hotter on one side and less dense, and you see inside.
Is there any precursor writing to indicate like the name of this place?
Bear with me. There is, and I know it's in my notes. Oh, there's a lot of notes to search through.
Is it going to be like a Horizon Zero Dawn style ruin where normally they just see things as these grey walls, but with our focuses on, we can see the holographic displays on everything.
I mean, do you want it to be that? Would it make you happy?
Would it make you happy?
I don't know. I think it was probably just engraved. Yeah.
Remind me, do I remember this place?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Do they remember you?
This place is called Arx and Cora. I will send it to the chat. Nope, that's the wrong chat.
It was a chat.
Arx and Cora, or Logorilla, as it is latterly known. You see the doors slide apart. There is a long sort of entrance tunnel. You ever see like Ellis Island?
Which was that one?
It was the place where people arrived. To arrive in America.
Yeah.
There's a little touch of that. There's like almost like passport booths there, but it is not Kyoto construction. This is part of the original precursor. And those no longer have function. They are more like statuary or sentinels standing at the door, and you head through. Many Kyoto in here. You are almost thrust back to like Harlan, because this is a bustling cityscape. The other thing you notice is in the metal walls of this sprawling city, of which I am going to show you.
Do you not have any tokens with vision in this scene?
You know what? I can fix that.
Give us your poor, give us your hungry.
Your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
And give us your vision.
This suddenly opens out into a giant cavernous underground city. There are whole buildings in here. There is like a river running through, like an artificial river. This is an enormous city, and the one thing that you notice is that within the metal panels, whenever there's an alcove, whenever there is a space, it is filled upon stack upon stack upon stack of bones. Skulls, femurs, ribs.
Do these bones look
Precursor.
Okay.
Does it look like they have been put there? Okay, does this place look like a mausoleum, or does it look like the Coyotl have stacked them reverently in those?
Very much the latter.
Okay.
Think like Paris catacombs. Standing waiting for you in front, where there's like this big sort of railing, because if you're gonna have something like that, you have the safety railings, guys. Star Wars, it's not hard. There is a big Timberwolf looking motherfucker standing there. He's wearing no armor. He's wearing sort of just grey, like hides and robes tied off around his waist. His claws are 6 inches long, and he goes, Ezekiel, again, you speak. I'll say this is translated. Who have you brought me, Ezekiel? He says, hey man, these guys are friends. They got captured. And he goes, speaks in Kotl again, translates as, did the Light Swan find you? No. It was, you know what? We'll get to that. These guys don't speak your...
Welcome to Logorala in Gotho. I am the Bodhishala of the Garu.
Bodhichala chieftain.
Roll me history. History or religion, either way.
And what check would you like me to make? What is the formal or polite way to greet? Such
It
a
would
leader?
be... so the way that Kyoth greet each other is how dogs greet each other. Which is a slow blink, because if you
Right, I don't have to
if you
sniff
close
it
your
behind.
eyes, you don't have to
Cool.
sniff any behind.
Okay.
If you close your eyes, it demonstrates. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing as doing that is showing that your hand is
Yeah.
open, etc., etc.
Can I
he
do
goes-
the slight bow and slow blink then?
Results.
That one.
You spent so long shying away from knowledge of this.
Specifically Coyote.
Anything,
No,
buddy? So,
How many loans did you sell to Coyote?
reveal to me
All
your
of them.
secrets, Augustburg. So the Kotl, each of the tribes is ruled like by a triumvirate system. So there is the Body Shala, the Mind Shala, and the Soul Shala. I get to do Kotl laws. I waited 24 sessions for this. I'm just gonna sit in this moment because it feels nice. The Body Shala is... so the triumvirate, they have equal power. If there is a 2/3 majority within that triumvirate, that is a decision made. Those positions are not for life, although they are only until that person steps down or is unable to discharge their duties. So there's no... Once someone is elected, they stay until something removes them from the position, be it illness or their own volition. You think that...
It's like the Supreme Court. You get on there, but then you can't really...
Yeah,
Unless
a
you
little bit.
choose to leave, you're...
Yeah, kind of. It is a lifetime appointment, but not an enforced like the Pope. You know how a Pope has stepped down
Yeah.
recently, and that was
Yeah.
hadn't happened since the 1500s.
Yeah.
So the Body Shala is in charge of the physical and earthly. So, firstly, defense, combat, troops. Also things like agriculture and hunting and the earthly physical needs. The Mind Shala is more of like the political, intellectual, cultural leader.
Administration as well.
Administration. Sorry, not cultural. But also like education, magic as well. It tends to be that the Body Shala will look like Kutho does, and the Mind Shala will be more of a spellcaster perhaps. Then there is the Soul Shala, who is in charge of the religious, spiritual, cultural. They tend to be clerics of the light or something similar, or paladins or druids, something more in the divine.
Much more spiritual
Yeah.
than spirit.
I think it might be spirit Shala and soul. I think it's soul. Mind, body, and soul. Yeah, it was mind, body, soul. So you will know that Kutho is one of the leaders of this place, but is not. Doesn't have unchecked power. Like, he's not a king here. He is a member of their government, and seems to be on very friendly terms with Ezekiel. Like,
Yes, I am Kuto. I am the Bodhishala of the Garu. What is your business here? You have...
and he points to the refugees behind you, the prisoners, and summons a few. They look like his sort of not bodyguards, like retinue kind of thing.
AIDS.
Aides, yeah, and sort of gestures over to the prisoners and says, "Yeah, like go and like treat wounds and feed and stuff and take away."
You are... what is your business?
We were happened to be in the area, dearly. That's all. We
You rescue this one.
we rescued this one and
Very callous.
others.
Reckless,
Ah,
but brave.
yes,
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 he
dearie.
is careless.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, dearie. Kind of.
Is he like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Fucking vampires. What are you gonna?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They.
Did he actually say that?
yeah,
Yeah.
you sense that he
trust this guy.
trusts Kutho. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right.
they.
Is there any humans nearby? Any that I see besides us, obviously.
You didn't see any. You are basically in the entrance of a giant underground city.
That's
so
fine, as
yeah,
long as I
like,
don't
you
see-
can see a thoroughfare,
Yeah,
but it all appears to be cattle.
Do you have anywhere a bit more private, dearie, that we could discuss the occurrence as to the...
Evu.
Yes. Can we go?
Yes.
Right.
Follow.
Of course.
And there are like little like a bit like your hover sled, which goes off into a side room and will be like kept safe for you. That's like I'm not gonna fuck with that. But
It's a cool piece of kit. We want to keep it.
yeah, and they will respect the alliance in terms of
Yeah.
you are equals in this place.
Although we could probably sell it to them and make bank.
But similar to that, there are like hover barges that let you not fly because you're sort of hovering with a little bit of propulsion, but move around this place.
We go to Evu. Yeah, Manshala.
Ah,
She'll expect someone.
all right. Very well. Let's off we go.
Yeah, you hop onto this barge and sort of go flying. If you can see a macrocosm of Kotal life beneath you. A question just for each of you. You've been here before. When you were very small. Notably a few days before a particular event.
Before?
How are you feeling?
So, at the moment, caught up in wonder and excitement.
Cool. You have, I think at this point, a memory is unlocked for you of being on one of these barges and it just being the best game in the world.
I also, the thing actually that's kicked in is a lesson that was drilled in by my parents about like diplomacy and etiquette,
Yeah.
and actually that's
You're sort of sitting on your hands a bit,
yeah. So
being very well behaved.
very much so, yeah. It's one of those. Everything is fine at the moment.
Cool.
So
Augustine,
Taking it all in.
is this your big first sort of interaction with the Kyotle in a
Oh,
big
yeah.
way?
Yeah.
Cool. Will?
Same. First big interaction in a big way, because, well, I mean...
Obviously, you have more of a history,
yes.
and the Garu were involved in the attack on Harlan 18 years ago. They were one of the tribes that were involved. In fact, you've now met two of the tribes that were involved. The other was Mockle's tribe.
It's a shame, because he was great.
Lillian.
She is laser focused on getting through this as fast as possible.
Okay.
I guess the other thing is like Augustine has been aware of Precursor for how long is it? What, a couple of months? This is
We're a couple of months in, I reckon.
Yeah. So like his first foray into Precursor was a room with a computer in, and most of the other places have been, other than Site 5 with the big cavern area.
Yeah.
We're now in like effectively the
You're.
craziest, biggest place we've ever seen.
Oh, for sure. This looks like a city.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a city. It was a city even before
Oh, no.
before the war. And Ryan has just had a realization.
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I've had a realisation, but not about anything you've said. Just, Will would ask Leviathan...
And then
And then get nothing.
Yeah, if she had any idea what this place
reflexively.
was. And then just nothing, and then just... Oh.
Get sad.
a quick question about the
Yes.
buildings.
Yeah.
Do they also look like they were Precursor in design and structure?
There are Kyotle structures that have been put up around them.
Yeah.
But the base of all of them. There are like roof gardens and stuff, and actually this place is lit from huge lamps on the ceiling, and it has its own day-night cycle. It is dawn in here as it is outside.
And is there any physical damage to the buildings?
Yes. You ever been to rural France, rural northern France?
Yes.
And seen what the buildings look like even this long after World War II?
There's bits missing and
Chunks, bullet holes.
Right. Okay. And this looks like it was involved in a war.
Yeah.
Like, I guess basically
and the places where there is the damage has been infilled with bone.
Interesting. Cool. Okay. That's fine. Basically, what I was ascertaining is, did the war come here, or did something else cause them to leave? / was a weapon used that didn't leave any traces?
You don't.
Yeah. No.
Roll me, I can say intelligence raw.
I mean, given the damage to the buildings, I'd imagine that's a 22.
Yeah, battle took place in here.
Yeah.
You were aware of there were other sanctuary cities as opposed to just Adita. Arx Ancora was another sanctuary city, and while Adita it took
orbital strike.
An orbital strike. That's not necessarily true for every other sanctuary city.
This one, if they could have gotten past the front door defences, and then they just wholesale slaughter in here.
Yep. You arrive up at the top. I'm just going to ping on the map. Can you see there?
Yep.
Up in that sort of tower section there. And you step off. There are guards galore around here as well. This is heavily defended. And you're with Kuthos. You'll kind of wave through.
Mm-hmm. Still all model. Still no humans. Still nothing.
I think down below you do see the occasional human.
Yeah.
They're mostly Morganites, like specialist technicians or something who've been sent to do a job here or to help out for something particular. I don't think you see any other insignia you recognise. You certainly don't see any firebirds here.
No.
You see the odd human. I think you maybe see a dozen in your way over, just walking around in the streets way below.
Yeah.
As you step off,
We go to the chamber for
speaking.
Yes, for waking sleep where you
Sleep.
quiet.
Meditation?
Oh.
Maybe.
Bedroom.
So are we in a...
What is meditation?
Calming oneself and...
Yes, meditation. We go to the meditation chamber. See Evu, who is the mind shala,
Very
and
good.
Yuko, who is the soul shala.
Right. That's fine. I'll lead the way, dearie.
walks through again. You can also see that in here at various places there are emplacements for quite familiar technologically looking cannon placements. The ones that you guys were turning on within Site 5, these actually look bigger. These are like siege cannon kind of things. And they look like they have been placed here within Coyotl structure, not like they've been moved up to here, if that makes sense. They were salvaged elsewhere in the city and brought up here. Door comes apart and there is a room.
Can we upload the vampire target template here as well, do you reckon?
It's not a bad idea.
Can't believe I'm the one saying this. I don't want to cause a diplomatic incident.
If they move them, they know what they're for, and they probably have some...
On a religion check of difficulty like 5.
I wouldn't have done it
They hate
without
undead as much as
mastering.
everyone else.
They do, but this is a very holy place.
Yeah, don't be fucking around with it.
As you get in, you hear skittering, and it's such a comforting skitter because it's the movement of tiny robot legs. This whole place is filled with candles on every surface, on top of skulls, sort of hung in brackets and things hanging from and there's a large rush mat rug sitting in the middle of this square room. And as a candle burns down and goes out, a little servitor robot comes up, replaces the candle and lights it and moves on. And there is this constant sort of tippy tapping, almost like rain, of this constant moving of tiny feet, producing this sort of white noise effect within the room. Sitting on the rush mat, there is a, again, grey robed, very sort of matronly, maternal, older female Coatl. She has like vivid, like purple jewellery and eyeshadow to complement the grey of her fur and the robes. Like she almost looks like she's in monochrome except for these accentuations. And then after Kutho is like grey with like a white thing under here. She is just pure sort of all dusty grey. Off to the side, you see this pirate-looking motherfucker who is like black fur and like gold earrings, and he's got like a scimitar and sashes. He's still wearing like grey robes, but all he's like really accentuated. And they both to Kutho as they come in. And he goes and takes a seat and gestures for you to, like, there are like rush, like padded mats on top of the greatest carpet.
Down. Oh, it's been a while since I've sit down
So,
on the floor.
I have to take off my jacket to sit down.
So, can I say in Coatl?
Yeah.
Is there like a space in the centre?
Yeah.
So in Coatl, can I say, in respect to you all, please allow the aid of the ancients to allow us all to speak in our natural language, and I will put my little translation skull in the centre.
Avu really beams. Like there's a really wide like. Coatl mostly smile with their eyes because their jaws are back to there, they don't have like lips to smile with, but she like really beams at you. So, it is really kind. And yeah, like from henceforth you will all like hear the translation going through. I will just speak in Coatl, but in English, like in the real world.
I am Evo. I am the Manshala. You've obviously met Kutho and your earthy friend over there. Gestures to Ezekiel.
Yes. We rescued him, dearie, from quite a predicament, and we wanted to speak to you about that particular predicament before we spoke about it anywhere else. We need to be candid with you as to what is occurring, and so that things can be put into motion. The Firebrand Company, do you know them?
I know of them.
Yes. They are infested from the top down with vampires, undead, bloodsuckers, horrible, terrible things, and they are ruining any chance anyone has of doing anything good on this land.
It's not just them, though.
That's a different problem. That's a separate problem that I don't think. For now, the Firebrands are the concern that these good people need to be aware of.
Thank you for sharing this information.
Yes.
Yuko goes,
That's a lot to drop on a person, you know.
It is a lot, dearie.
he has a real sort of like glint of mischief in his eye as well.
Can I roll insight? Did they already know?
I'm going to
Roll insight, absolutely.
16.
15.
No.
On a 16 being the highest, you don't think so. Like, there's no, don't give any indication of like, I don't like, oh, you only finding this out now. They also like don't react in a way that would suggest they're vastly concerned. It's more like useful information to have as if it needs to be used.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have any dealings with them, I would suggest don't.
They don't tend to be too friendly to us.
No, so I don't know if you know this, dearie, but they can't feed on you. They hate you.
It makes sense.
It's a good thing.
But we didn't learn We suspect, but we don't know
Yeah.
that they are the orchestrators of the war in the first, or at least are egging it on. To some level, the firebrands, that they are egging it on. We didn't get confirmation of that. We got
It's our own supposition.
It's our own supposition
Yeah.
that they might be egging this war on to destroy all the Kyoto, because that would serve
If
their
the Kyoto are
interests.
fighting each other,
They're
works
not-
for them.
Yes, it is possible, dearie. We have no confirmation of this, that the firebrands are egging this war on longer than it should be. It is not that they don't like feeding on you. They cannot. You are anathema to them.
The blood drinkers, that is what they are, yes.
Yes, and you don't taste very good. In the nicest possible way.
Nor you to us.
Thank you, I think.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think, yeah.
So, is there anything else to report?
We managed to cleanse one of your holy sites of the vampire presence. In return, we'd be very appreciative if you did not tell anyone that we were here. We are supposed to be dead. In the vampires believe that we are dead.
Yes, we are. If you...
And
And she'll hold out one of the amulets. If
Faking
you,
your death, eh? Been there.
it's the pirate one, isn't it?
It's Yuko, yeah.
Yeah.
You should get a drink.
Yes, I feel great.
Avery sort of like... And sort of like goes like, is this okay to do? And she sort of puts a claw, and you feel this massive like... She is like not Kutho, who is like this big like clawed wolf, like who clearly fights with the claws. They're dinged to shit and everything. Even her hand, which is like the hand of a scholar resting her head, that's a big paw on the head there. And you see her cast a spell. And then after a few seconds, like sort of like memory and recollection hits her face a bit, and
You have been here before.
I have, yes.
You
Do
were-
I recognise any of...
you recognise Avery.
Avery, right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yuko is probably not that much older than you.
Yeah, because he's a bit too young.
Yeah. Kutho you didn't see, like, I mean, you'd remember him. He's quite a striking
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
But Avery you recognise. She was younger. She was a young Kyoto. Kyoto don't live as long as humans, but she was young when she was here, and you remember speaking to a Mineshala, and yeah.
Well, if your parents were involved in any of the three factions here, it would definitely be the mind lot, because they're all about the spiritual lot as well, actually.
You were here when you were a cub. Yes.
You were also very young.
Yes.
It's-
Well, I was. I'm still very young.
So am I.
She's joking. You're not. There is the thing. She's like into middle age, and you're
We're all very young, dearie.
Could I have you refreshment of any kind? I can have stuff brought in.
She sort of goes to the exact model of your wrist pad, the fabric one, and server robots come in with like food and drink.
Of course.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely.
When I was last here, do you remember what we discussed? Or what was discussed? I remember being
Me and
very quiet.
Yuko's predecessor, we spoke to your sires, I think.
Do you know what about?
Your sire and them, they were scholars, no?
Mm.
They were investigating other parts of, so they traded information and technology to us for a share of information for a device. I believe that detected the ancestor spell work. They were looking for a particular thing.
Did they say what that particular thing was?
They did not, I'm afraid.
You don't happen to have another one of those devices, do you, dearie?
This particular one, I believe, was keyed to the thing they were finding. We have others, but not for the place. And if you wish to find it, I'm sorry, you will have to find your sire and them.
No.
I'm working on that.
Yes, that's a complicated... wrapped up in some other problems that we've got, and I was hoping to...
Ezekiel, Bashi is here, if you wish to speak to her.
And Ezekiel goes, sure, thanks. He's a bit awkward and a bit like, he's clearly operates on quite a high level of politics and isn't really sure what to do with that power that he's been given.
He's like the assistant to the assistant that's been all of a sudden shoved in front of the president and like, go.
Yeah, it's absolutely that. And like
Oh god, that sounds as if things that happened to Will.
Yeah, which I think is probably where you get on with it as well.
Yeah.
Like he goes to a lot of like really important peace talks and conferences and doesn't get to say anything there. He just has to be there because it's his duty. But,
Yeah.
like McCoy would be the one who'd be actually making the decisions, but Ezekiel goes as well. Sure, thanks. Sorry, carry on. Yes.
Are you familiar with the phrase ruin sickness?
It is. You see her cast that cantrip again, whatever she cast before, and it. You see her blink a few times.
It is a disease from the Reba lands, I believe.
Have there been any other accounts of such a sickness occurring elsewhere?
Not that is within my library.
Right. Thank you for your assistance.
You're most
And
welcome.
again, I'll do the slow blink.
Yeah, sure. Ezekiel's sort of like edging towards the door and just sort of like,
Just go.
it's
More awkward if you take longer.
and sort of steps off into like a side chamber. Through there, you can see it opens up, and there is like accommodation. Basically, this looks like this isn't a palace because people don't really go in for palaces, but this is like the sort of
Grandest structure they have.
it's very monastic and very. I mean, Kutho is a monk for avoidance of doubt. It's very Spartan. You can see in there is like a very simple room set up, and it's one of the many rooms that comes off this enormous room that is a perfect cube. And there are other rooms on other levels, but he goes into a particular one. And you can see in there is a green-robed Coyotl who is looks like she's currently making arrows. She's fletching and binding arrows together. Then door slam shut behind them.
These devices that allow you to detect the presence of certain functions.
Would like to see one?
I would very
She
much
goes
appreciate
in and pulls out. Do you remember very, very early on in, I think, the second episode, you were at subsite 334 and there were those little oval fob stones which slot into the locking mechanism on that. It's effectively one of those. But it has it has a little sort of proximity RFID kind of thing that, yeah.
Okay.
Would we be able to have a look at your collection? And we're trying to find a specific one. We only know the rough general area of it.
One of our allies was lost as a result of interaction with a site. We're trying to locate them. We think we know where they might be, or at least have the information, but we need to be able to access a specific site.
I'm very sorry, first of all.
It was very sudden, and we're trying to recover.
Of course. We have a great many of these for many rooms within Logorilla. Those externally, there is very little that They are found in the sand. You could not track from where they go. From the information, I believe. You are more than welcome. And she sort of basically goes to one of the actual coatl attendants rather than the Cirque, because the little tiny robots don't really think, they just do. And she speaks to him and goes, Yaba, would you please head to the market and pick up a few opening stones for our guests, please? And yeah, the attendant sort of hops off and goes to pick up a handful. And those will be ones that basically they're not of the same architecture as Logorilla or Arx Ancora. My brain just fully went off there. I have no idea what I was talking about.
She was bringing the
beacon stones. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. She. So the attendant. Goes off. Like basically hops on a barge and heads out. But yeah, leaves you in.
While we are waiting,
and sort of points down. There's like
Of
food
course,
and.
Lily pulls out a box of cookies and she's made way too much. Of course, you're welcome.
Takes a little pot and there's other cookies. And
Oh!
do one for one?
Yes.
Yuko is there sort of like... Yuko is there sort of like bisexual crouching and pulls out like a human-made hip flask and just sort of like...
I pull out my own hip flask.
human made, as in it was made by humans,
not of humans.
I was like, what the hell? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, swaps for a bit. Yeah, swap back. There you go.
Does my metal arm / hand get any reactions?
It really doesn't. Everyone treats it completely normally.
I imagine they've got some different able people here.
Yeah. People, there are people with differences and stuff. Yeah.
where are you?
It's Kutho.
Where are you going?
Kutho, by the way, is notably he is still speaking in human. He's sort of, I guess, making the effort as far as you can tell.
Okay.
Or maybe that he's practicing.
We have
What is your plan from here? Where go you?
we have 2 destinations in mind. There's a location where we think, like I said, the motto main site is. We think we're going to try and find it and hopefully retrieve our ally. If we can't, or if we do, then we are moving on to Ragend. Ragbend, that's the one.
I see the Nyora.
Getting old and names are a
I
bit
know.
tricky.
It is why I have this, and she holds up like the casting focus, and you get the sense whatever spell she was doing was something about memory.
Right.
Like for someone who has learned too much to store in one brain.
Interesting spell. Anyways, that is where my grandchildren are being kept. Oh, I should have mentioned something. The vampires are kidnapping children as well. As in
Human or Goethe or both?
children with a big C, as in the special ones.
Like Ilya.
Ilya?
Have you ever been to Fort Morgan?
Yes.
You may meet Ilya.
Did we meet Ilya?
You haven't met her, no.
Like,
Carter Garland.
Carter Garland.
I know the Garland boy. He's a kind boy.
Was.
No, he still is.
He's still
dear.
very kind.
Nothing is. He's not passed on. I heard about his resurrection.
That is a complicated thing. He is not human anymore. Or not like us. He is...
He used to be considered a bloodsucker.
Yes, and possibly dangerous. He travels with you by choice to avoid drinking from his own kind, I think. He is struggling with the moral implications of what he's become. But there is another like him, which you probably may have heard rumors of, the Sheriff, Kincaid.
She does the cantrip again.
The mate of McCoy.
That one, yes. He is also as Garland is. He is exceedingly dangerous.
It is very sad what has happened to the Garland boy.
It is.
Can it be fixed?
Maybe.
We don't know for sure. We think maybe.
I will send a quiet word to a friend of mine in the Tolkar.
He is safe for you to be around, as far as I'm aware, just not inhuman.
I've heard he has been traversing and fighting with our kind.
There is a reason for that. He was a kind soul before, and I thought I reached him for a moment when I was speaking to him and I should have noticed the signs that something was wrong, but he has a, do we still have one of those rings?
Ezekiel has it.
Ezekiel has a ring on his finger. It shields them from most of the...
They do not work in the sun,
They do.
but that is what it shields them from.
Yes, and from divination and from any scans. Of
You
anything
see,
that should-
she goes into her robes and pulls out an orb, and
Hey, would you look at that?
as she's trying to scry Ezekiel,
Yeah.
and
That is funny.
Yes.
Ezekiel doesn't. It is not a bloodsucker.
No.
We just had the spare ring to protect from divination
Of course.
Yes.
because
It'd be useful for a
got
man
one.
like him.
Yes.
Yes.
We are also protected from divination similarly, but
I
for
see.
separate reasons.
Amulets.
Yes.
I recognize not the make, but the object.
Yes. It became very important that nobody knows that we're still alive for the protection of my grandchildren, who I intend to get back and murder every one of those bastard bloodsuckers who took them.
Avu nods quite solemnly, but I get it.
So we took my grandkids? Yeah.
Yeah, but she points to the away where the attendant ran.
Alright.
He's my grandcub. Very fond of her.
So you understand, dearie. Then I hope that this favour will not land on deaf ears. I need as fast a transport as you can muster and provide for us so that I can be reunited with them as quickly as possible. I understand I am bringing you both terrible information and news with nothing to show for it.
A favor for a favor?
Depends what the favour is, but I'll see what I can do.
We have a guest, Bashi, an old friend of Kuthos and of other people. If you would not mind escorting her to Fort Morgan.
I'm sure we can manage that. Wish I
She
did
is
that way
a,
anyways.
The translating. I don't need to find it. Very important person.
says the skull.
Yes. Right.
To you or to...
To a lot of people. To the kids mostly.
Very well.
If you are concerned about the safety of your grandchildren, they would have a place here in security if you so wished it.
There are things that even this place cannot protect them from. And there are concerns I have about what looks from above. They were taken as a result of things beyond this world. And someday I mean to do something about that. But right now, for now, immediate dangers must be dealt with.
Take it one little step at a time.
Indeed.
What about their security once we reach Fort Morgan?
Bashi. She will be with me, so he won't let anything happen to her.
Then that's fine. One more question, if I may. The ancients, do you have any records of devices that they would use to instantly transport a person from one place to another?
Teleportation devices.
Yes.
Yes, lots. There are places in the city that you can only traverse by teleportation. It is a short range.
Yeah, okay.
There are devices which would let you travel over longer distances, even ways of producing. And she says a word in Kyoto, and what comes out is even things like nexus capacitors, which would allow the joining of 2 points in space to make a stable teleportation tunnel.
Okay.
Handy skull, that.
Yes. These nexus points, are there any... What writings or knowledge have you got around them?
A moment. And she goes over to one of the walls and basically like taps out a sequence on some of the bones that have been laid into the wall, and the thing folds inwards and reveals a precursor computer bank. I can't store everything in here, just the important things. Goes in, pulls up a schematic, and it shares a lot of DNA with the teleportation tunnel from the Chambers Mansion in Site 5. It's not the same, but where it talks about a nexus joining 2 points together in space, it's the same theory and the same protocol kind of thing.
This is kind of a remind me to the group. The phase fluid, was that also nexus based, or am I getting those terms mixed up?
You're coming from the right direction. Basically, what the phase, so the primary nexus capacitor it's called, or the nexus capacitor in subsite 71 was joining to another place, and that other place was full of fluid.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, but it's not generating the fluid. It's
the nexus capacitor is just about linking 2 points in space.
It's a
and
pipe,
one place it's linking. Yes,
one place it's linking
has
to.
fluid.
A is nowhere within this reality, and B is full of fluid.
Okay.
10:30 cut off. Sweet.
Are there ways to... So when you create a nexus point, like from one place to another, are those two locked, or could you set... If you wanted to get to a teleporter, could you create a new link between that teleporter?
You would need a new nexus capacitor at the other location, unless there was some kind of rift there already.
So if... I'm just thinking, if we wanted to get... So thinking out loud...
Go for it.
So we know that Leviathan... We don't know that. We think Leviathan has been taken to a primary site. We think the one that she's at is deep underground, that we can't physically access unless we had access to a teleportation thing.
No, we don't know which site she's at. We just know that she was taken. We think the main site might be the best chance of finding out where she went.
Cool.
And we know that the 4 sites in particular were the ones that sent the signal to take her somewhere. So if anyone knows, it's going to be one of those 4 sites.
So to get into the one that's relatively closest and definitely within human lines, we would need a teleporter. But presumably the base already has a teleporter. Basically what I'm saying is, can we create a teleporter to link to an...
You want to hack into the teleportation network,
yes,
and go from a point that wasn't registered to that exit.
Yes, that's...
Your sire mentioned a similar thing. Wish to use the
again speaks the code.
nexus capacitor to try and locate some of the ancestors' technology.
Really?
Bring me back. You're very like him. And your mother.
Your dam, sorry, she would say.
Your parents, Misty, they were trying to find other Malta sites and teleport into them. And I think they might have missed.
No, I think they hit exactly where they wanted to go. It's just that where they wanted to go wasn't a particularly safe place to go to.
They were venturing into the unknown. So
I think they were looking for other main sites, and they
What I
found
say is,
something bigger.
you've
Yes.
read every piece of every paper, every research note your parents ever made, because they are backed up in the university library, and they were site hunting, baby. That they were looking for sites. They
Yeah.
you would know from your own like backstory reading. If they ended up somewhere that wasn't a site, they missed.
So I think they technically missed, but they found something bigger than a site.
Maybe.
Can I just clarify? There's some language that you used earlier. I just want to make sure it's not a slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
You said the place that we investigated last session was
Subsite 71.
Yeah, no, but the thing that we learnt
Mm.
was that the place that teleporter linked to was filled with the liquid.
That's me prevaricating and speaking hyperbolically.
If I put
It's got a lot of the liquid in it.
Okay, so if I put a teleporter in the depths of the ocean that is filled with water, it's not that analogy.
No, absolutely right. Absolutely right. It is not like the teleporter opens out into a big bathtub full of face fluid.
That place's equivalent of air is not.
My imagining is it
The full volume is not full of the fluid.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify, because you said fill.
You are not opening a rift to the elemental plane of phase fluid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh no!
I'm imagining it's closer to a quarry.
That's my assumption.
Yes.
And it is still a site, though.
Presumably,
It is a place that, because at some point they were bringing stuff back.
yeah. It was actively, and we know that it's not filled in again the same way that the ocean is filled, because otherwise they would never have been able to send messages back. So wherever they are,
There is
Something there.
they were in a state where they could use technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yabu, her grand cub arrives back and basically out of breath, really trying to help. Look, she's not much older than a cub, but you know.
I hand her a cookie.
Yeah.
Good kitty.
And she
Take
sort
a
of
bit.
does the blink, and the blink is too quick, and the nod is too quick. But yeah.
Calm down. Just take a minute.
And sort of hands you a bowl, and she goes, yeah. And he goes, and the translation skull goes, "You're welcome," and she goes. But yeah, so these are roll me a tech check. Anybody who wants to get a hand on one of these. She's basically just gone to like a treasure hunter's stall or like a knick-knack junk stall.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm going to use the session inspiration because I haven't yet.
Go for it. Yeah. It wears off. So
One worse. Okay, so dirty 20.
dirty 20. You get some information out of this in the same way that you can scan like a hotel ID card kind of thing and get like the door that like the code of the door it's supposed to open.
Mm-hmm.
There's no geotagged data, but you effectively get like I don't know storage room 1 or like if this had come from like Doralus, it might say like lab door, like this is enabled to open lab door 2, 4, 5, 7 and 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. These are fobs. Yeah. I have a secret message. I might have 2 secret messages.
Okay, while Joe's checking those, a quick question. Do we want to try offering her to clone or row access to her data pad?
This is not a martel, it's just precursor. So this would not have the same kind of
concept.
But I might want to ask
Do we want
what
to
kind of
offer
clearance they
to
have.
give her road clearance, like clone the road clearance onto her data pad?
That's exactly what I was asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does not apply.
Does not apply.
It's because it's not an article, it's precursor.
It might give, because this is a city, it might still have access. It might
There
still
might be
have
other
data
doors to open with it.
that they've been able to open for whatever reason. Deary, what kind of level? We've been to a few model sites. What kind of access level do you have? Do you understand that? And the skull translated.
Yes. She gives. She probably say like Omicron or something, which is high, is way higher than you started with, but is lower than Roe.
Right.
we may be able to enhance that slightly, if you'd like.
It is no small gift. I would be much appreciative.
Okay, and I will try and... Because Leviathan's done this for us before.
Yeah.
I'll try and replicate what Leviathan did and grant rogue clearance.
And clone the access.
Clone the access, yes.
She hands you her personal crystal, effectively, and it touched hips, but yeah, it is a couple of minutes work, and clones the clearance.
Can I?
There are doors yet in this city that remain closed. Be interesting to find what is in there.
Can I learn how to make a nexus point?
Some knowledge of the ancestors remains closed even to people such as you and I.
Right.
Do you have you have a skying orb deity?
Yes.
Do you have any agents or anything out in Ragbend?
Yes. Well, I know people who are there.
What was the name of the...
Kutho. You have any claws out there in that particular stretch of territory? I do know.
And he calls one of his retinue over, who's now returned from, like, basically taking the prisoners to the infirmary. And Adno comes over, who's like one of his like war marshals, and they sort of have a quiet like conversation that isn't like it's too quiet to be picked up by the microphone within the skull.
Renak.
She goes, and there is you see a Kyotel who is sort of strolling around a marketplace. Sort of a big sort of kite shield on the back and a long spear. Looks fairly easy, fairly relaxed. It's past dawn over in Ragbend. You see it is he's wandering around in a market, and from what you can see there is an enormous pole driven into the ground. Not a signal tower, before you ask, but a great, yeah. And from that, loads of strings of myriad coloured rags hang from it and just flutter in the wind, and it creates this sort of rippling shade underneath. That is, and you can see Ragbend.
What's the name of the family? It slipped my mind.
It slipped my mind as well. I can't remember it, but I know who you mean.
Yes. And she'll ask, do you have anyone who knows them or near them?
A moment. And she... And you see the little figure within the orb begin to walk through town.
Oh.
And anyone can run me Arcana check, but you probably all worked out what happened there.
Yeah, she cast ascending to
Um,
go over here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Yep, I'm taking orders.
Play like a third-person video game character.
That's fine.
He walks over, and you see a house. A big house. It is human, iron spike railings. Nowhere near the grandeur or
The
castle-like nature. And I'm going to perception check from you.
Okay, that is very good.
Yeah.
It is super, super high. I'm definitely guidancing. Okay. Skills, perception.
What do we think?
27.
All right. At first, it could have been the wind. You look, and there is you can see the rippling of the. You've lost sight of those now. Out from underneath the ragpole, but it could be the wind. But you can see a couple of objects moving around on the ground. just inside the fence. And then you look at it closer, and the trees are blowing like that way, not that way. It's going completely counter
So
to
there's
the wind.
someone who is protected from scrying.
You can see a ball moving.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. And you can also see a pair of footprints a little way off that are adult-sized
Mm-hmm.
and don't appear to be moving at all.
Yeah. She's okay. That makes sense.
That's information.
Can you ask him if the two that are standing right there, the ones playing with the ball, are happy and healthy?
Two children, but you call them the children.
Yes.
White skin, horns, not injured.
Those are my grandkids.
Oh. And that she points to the footprints. I hope you kill that motherfucker.
And pulls out the card with her face on it. Yes.
Cool.
That's what this is for.
Excellent. Yeah. At this point, Ezekiel, and he sort of walks out. You can see that this female called Bashi has basically just loaded up a big pack and has it over one shoulder. She has a longbow at one side, has a quiver of arrows in the back.
Hey, I'm Bashi.
We are your escorts, dearie.
Oh, you're coming too? I thought I was just with this meathead.
No, you're stuck with a lot of us.
Fair enough.
I promise you we're capable.
You want me to hang out with him if you want. Bashi, you are...
Misty.
Augustine.
Will Harbinger.
And Lillian, dear.
A pleasure to meet all of you. You have... Yes, okay. We need to go. So, I don't know what your plans are, but kind of deadlines.
Yes.
Just before we disappear, can I ask one of you to scry one more time? And I can't do it, but you might be able to do it. Can you pull up
Minor illusion.
Yeah, minor illusion, but...
I've never seen your parents.
No, not my parents, Leviathan. Although that's tricky because we've not
She's
seen...
got no physical form.
She has no
really.
physical form.
We've seen interpretations of the physical form, though. But...
Only Lily has.
okay.
I'm also going to tell you...
Oh no, Lily and
you've-
Augustine have.
I think all of you have seen various interpretations of how your brain processed her image in the
Yeah.
ghost memory in Novem.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm fully expecting this to fail because...
It does.
Yeah.
Bashi, dear,
Abu.
these lovely people, they will need a lift to... Where are you going? Ragbend?
Ragbend eventually.
Ragbend.
They will need a lift to Ragbend once you reach Fort Morgan, okay?
And you see Bashi goes sort of like... She was a very confident, powerful woman a second ago, and then she's just like, alright.
You understand me? You can do this, okay? You have this. Goraz taught you very well. Okay. Right. Let's go meet my idiot husband. Come on.
Yeah. And Bashi, like, fully pieces out. Like, she will wait outside for you if you don't follow, but she is expecting you to follow.
us to
Yeah,
follow.
no, we'll do the pleasantries and saying goodbye, cookie for the road and all that.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure and absolute delight. Thank you.
And Yuko is like, you know, I got a lot of meetings I want to skip out on, so I might come too if that's okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Out of character. Want to see more of this guy?
Take the pirate.
Yeah, Avu.
Can he just carry us all the way to Ragbend?
Maybe. Avu,
I hope you find your grandchildren. And
I will, dearie. In this life or the next.
you're very intense. I like that.
I've had a week, if I'm honest here. been a lot. Maybe someday I'll come back and tell you about it.
She lays a claw on your shoulder and casts bless on you.
And I do the same to her as well.
I don't know what the rest of you are looking for, but I hope you find it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will.
Be well. May the winds take you to where you need to go.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Of course. Cookie for the road?
Of course.
Okay, you peace out. Yeah, Bashi's there. She's already saddled up. Kutho is there with a one of the sand wolves you saw the Raza riding, and the one of the ones you fought. This is a big adult one, and he hands the reins to Bashi and says,
"You look after her. Okay? You look after her."
and you realise he is talking not to the mount. He's talking to Bashi.
Don't kill my animal.
Yeah. This thing is huge, rippling. You can see it has the claws have been like metalled over, and they have like runes carved into the claws, and similar with the canine fangs as well. If there was anything you would have been able to accomplish in like maybe 10 minutes that you wanted to do within Logorilla, I appreciate it was a flying visit. Let me know in the week. Otherwise, you head out, you head on the road, and you're actually travelling through safe territory. There's
The refugees we rescued before staying in the city.
prisoners are staying here to recuperate. They are safe here. They're welcome here. Kutho and Ava are making sure they are looked after. Yuko.
I would have checked in with them before we left to double.
Absolutely.
You okay? We're off. These people are good people. Good luck.
So Bashi mounts up on the sand wolf, sort of slings the arrows onto the saddle there, bow over the back. You guys obviously on your beetles. Yuko pulls out a small rug, flaps it out, sits on it, and the rug.
Oh,
It is a one-person flying carpet.
nice. Those are the fastest ones.
Yeah. Let's go. And yeah, you set off. It is an easy journey. You are behind friendly lines. You are travelling through relatively safe countryside, as safe as you can possibly make it. And if you look at you're already ahead of me. It is about 5 days travel to Fort Morgan. You, for one thing, are travelling on road. You are like, you are going down like actual. There are tracks to follow. You're not like navigating through like rough terrain anymore. The weather stays hot, but not oppressive. You're sort of moving well on from midsummer now, getting into like the sort of September 2nd summer kind of thing. But it doesn't reach those peak temperatures, and the air is a lot more humid, and there's more wind movement as well. As you move, you pass by subsite 334. You're maybe 6 hours travel away from where this all got kicked off. And you'll be travelling basically down that road, and as you get to there, you're a little south and west of that subsite, but you rejoin the road that you have already travelled down to get to Fort Morgan. As you're travelling, you notice storm clouds up in the mountains north of Logorilla. I'm just going to ping on the map. Big, black, angry storm clouds, and you go, and the lightning cracks through, and you hear the thunder. It's twice, 3 times as audible out here in this flat desert as it ever is anywhere else you've ever experienced. And the lightning is not just there, it's that red, angry lightning of dust and silica in the air. Travel on. Going through the cactus fields, through the mercy trees, you see that familiar mercy tree in the distance that you once found some firebirds hanging from, with a message from a madman carved into them. And you think you'll get to Fort Morgan late this evening. Probably 7, 8. It'll be getting dark, but it won't be fully dark.
Lily is still, even though we're in friendly territory, she is looking like a woman possessed and on constant edge. And she has not been the same since the
Divination.
The divination.
Yeah. Will, how are you feeling?
A little bit alone.
That's fair.
More alone than I've felt in a while. And so, whilst processing that, I'm going to be focusing on what I can do right now. And what I can do right now is work towards saving Lily's grandkids.
Augustine?
I think the same determined resolution as...
As you had on the way up to Logrilla.
Yeah, but we're getting closer to civilization, to points of...
Prey.
Yeah.
I know the word you mean. Misty? Oh, there was another thought there. I saw it happen.
It's not prey. It's... what word did I use to describe it?
Marks?
No, he's not looking for new marks. He's looking for... Because the goal is not getting a loan, it's collect debt.
Clients?
Clients, yeah.
You're looking for clients. So you're looking for...
So out of character, Augustine wants to know, now that he knows what he knows, what that feels like. Does it feel different?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, if we don't find any on the road, ragbed, you're bound to have...
Yeah.
Fort Morgan's a good bet as well.
Okay.
Misty?
Distracted. Half focused on what will once again probably be a interesting battle ahead, and there's a mix of emotions that she is not yet allowed to bring to the surface, and because she's not identified what's bothering her, but there's very much like the mountains, there are storm clouds on the horizon which may be problematic, but for now she's mostly focused on the task at hand.
As you reach the final day, you'll get to Fort Morgan tonight. Those storm clouds are lapping overhead, blotting out half of the sky as well. Not unusual for this time of year. The air is really pregnant with rain, as you can feel that just turn of cold air come in that precipitates heavy, heavy rain.
Does this feel like when the rain came to, and the Thunderbird came to pick up the...
It does. Could I get a perception check from everyone?
And the Thunderbird came to pick up you.
The bones from Slumbering Hollow. 1.
20...
Okay, cool.
4.
8.
1, 8. Augustine?
Try 25.
I rolled an 8 at 12, I think.
25.
You're coming round a mesa that juts out a little. It sort of sticks a bit above, and it comes out of a little bit out of nowhere. It sort of rises up. It's like a spine of rock. You can see a dust cloud coming. You can see actually 2 on that roll. One appears to be moving a lot faster. One is bigger. As you round the corner of the mesa, in that twilight, you can see about 300 or 400 Quetzalcoatl running for their lives. They're riding big, a couple of them are riding big, like wide-footed lizards who are sort of going like this kind of motion through the sand. Yeah. But this isn't warriors, this is merchants and elderly and children and various things. Looking behind them, you can see thousands upon thousands of stumbling, shambling figures. Zombies in the thousands. You are maybe a mile from Fort Morgan. The zombies are clad in black robes and white robes. As you... so what do you do at this moment? You can see that the swarm of zombies, where these Kitzer who are running are exhausted. They've clearly been running for hours or days. The back of their pack is beginning to merge with the front of the other pack.
So I was going to bring this up during the downtime.
Yeah.
That I was going to suggest about the holy water fog machine. But also, I know that holy water, a cleric can make it with 25 gold.
Yes.
Gold worth of silver specifically.
Yeah, I need silver.
During the 10 minutes before we left, I was thinking possibly getting some of our platinum turned into silver for that. So, and if over the course of the journey those two projects being worked on, do we possibly have something we could use to assist here?
You can for sure assist. If you want to ride straight for it, the zombies are not populous enough and dense enough to provide a threat to you. Bashi
I was going to say,
unslings the bow.
she's a green robe as well, isn't she?
She is. These are her people. She kicks the sandwolf and it runs. It has an 80-foot movement speed because of those horseshoes of speed it has.
I think as she goes off, she sees Lily just on her 6, basically, just right behind her.
Perfect.
Yeah, Will is going to follow.
Yuko is like, oh, that needs sorting out. Shing! And draws the scimitar.
Will gets the giant oversized revolver made of light. Like Super Adventure Box style.
Absolutely. At this moment you hear a peal of thunder comes from lightning directly above you. You hear this immense keening screech and a thunderbird dips below the cloud, and you can see an enormous section of it has been rotted away and bones are exposed underneath. And you see the Fort Morgan shield goes up, and you start to hear alarm bells from within the city as the gates open and they prepare to receive the rest of the Kitzer who are charging for the gates for Sanctuary. That's when I end the session.
Cool.
The Battle of Fort Morgan.
Horde of Undead,
Now.
I'm a cleric.
I didn't want to spoil the
Turn
mood
it
at
dead,
the time,
turn it dead, turn it dead, rubber band.
but when you said it is a quiet journey to Fort Morgan, I was like,
Oh, that
what-
was supposed to be signposting. That was
What are
intentional.
you up to?
As soon as he mentioned that bloody storm, I was like, ooh, that's going to be a problem for later. No, apparently it's a problem for now.
That's going to be a looming threat for a little bit, right?
I'm really glad I called the Thunderbird, though.
So,
Yeah.
how the fact that she's turned to engage, like, because didn't you say there were thousands of these zombies?
Thousands. Minimum thousands.
Do we...
How fast are they going?
But
20 feet around?
if I
Oh,
get...
so
But I
the move's
suppose
20 feet, not 40 feet
Lily's
around.
like, if Lily thinks if I get to a choke point and put up Spirit Guardians, they'll just chip a shred of them. They go...
I suppose
Don't
actually
forget turning.
I wouldn't even need to. If
I
they
see-
wandered into the space, they just get destroyed.
I suppose our
Yeah.
goal is not necessarily to kill all of them, but to give the refugees enough time to get
Get
to
into
Fort
the
Morgan.
city.
right.
And
yeah.
then we've got to do whatever we got to do.
I'm going to
Yeah.
pause recording.
Yep.
Yes.
Destroy.